Hey, yo! What's good? Cupidiso.com, just for Zig Money. Buddy, Brussels, Golden Duck, MIG Wumbo. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Good to see you. Get to work on time. So I gotta get to Hello! Hello. Oh my God, there's no chat. Where are you, chat? Speak up louder and I can finally see you. Believe. Yes! There you are. Hey, well, good to see you. Welcome to the Atrioc broadcast on January 25th, 2025. We're 25 days into a brand new year. How is the year treating you so far? Is a good question. Luigi was only last month. Damn, time does fly. What's happening to Mr. Mangione, by the way? Luigi Mangione. Dave Franco is going to portray Luigi Mangione in a... Wait, what? I've never received more texts in my life that he looks like Luigi Mangione. We don't need a Luigi Mangione movie 1 month after. That's... I've never received more texts in my life about anything. Anyone who has my phone number reached out about it. That's wild.
Not Luigi.
Anyone? Do you mean everyone?
I've never received more texts in my life about anything.
Yeah. But I don't think there's been any official offers.
No official.
It's just friends.
I see. Anyway, hello. They were... Wait, I'm sorry. Oh my God. I got into all the universities I applied to. I applied to 3. By the way, I'm the chatter who watched Game of Thrones on 3x speed. Glizzy. I guess congrats. I'm not happy about it, but I'll give you a congrats. I guess your unique style of information consumption was good enough for the universities. It's not good enough for me, but I don't run a university. So congrats. Hey, Jalen Todd, thank you for the 15 months. I watched your set against Toph last night at Blood for Blood. Do you mean the set where we got on stage and Toph said, I can beat you off without my main? And he picked Falco against my Sheik. And then I fucking put him through the ringer and he had to switch back to Fox? Remember that set? Toph, Atrioc, Blood for Blood.
Whoever wins is definitely going to talk about this at work for the next week.
It's just the next week. If Atrioc wins this, he's going to carry it.
If Atrioc wins this...
I'm still talking about it in 2025. And I didn't even win. I'm still talking about it in 2025 and I didn't even fucking win.
He's never going to live it down. Toph's like, yo, you don't even get the Fox, bro, because I beat you at work so bad.
Yeah, they made an agreement last night. They're like, if Atrioc can beat Dookie and play Toph, he's going to go Falco.
He beat Dookie?
I think he did.
Let's go. Damn. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah, I beat Dookie. Yeah, I fucked up Dookie, dude. I'm fucking cracked. Look at my fucking power stance, dude. Holy shit. Look at this Sigma fucking chatted stance. Look, the Virgin Lean over here versus the fucking power stance young J-Mook. It's a let's go Brandon moment. Anyway.
His name's Brandon,
Yo,
too.
Who's Falco? Who's
Falco is Toph, T-O-P-H.
Yes.
And Sheik
Atrioc
is Atrioc.
Dude, look at him
Let's go,
move.
Atrioc. I
Damn,
gotta.
he really beat
Boom.
Dookie.
Well, I mean,
I'm
unless
impressed.
Dookie didn't show up, but that
No,
was
I
his
definitely
bracket.
saw Dookie
Yeah.
today. Yo, let's get it. My boy Atrioc is out here trying to get far in the tournament. He definitely lives with Ralph. He's like, yo, I got that Ralph practice, son. You can't phase me. Dude,
I did live with Ralph. If you guys don't know, Ralph he was an up-and-coming, pretty good NorCal Melee player, and I invited him to live with me because I wanted someone to practice with. Little did I know that once Ralph lived with me, he would no longer play Melee with me. Instead, he would hide in his room, lock the door, only emerging to take over the TV and play Persona 5 for weeks at a time. I don't think I saw him. I don't think I saw him for months. And he would only come out to play Persona 5, and then I wouldn't have any access to the TV for days. So I didn't get much Melee practice.
Dash dance. There we
Okay.
go.
let's see if Toph can bring it back.
Dude, I'm hella rooting for my boy Atrioc. You know, I love Toph, but Atrioc is the original Zero to Hero.
Yup.
Oh,
I have to root for him, man.
Yup.
Your trainings, Sensei Tapo.
Oh no.
Hey, he works for Twitch. They both work for Twitch. You should put Twitch Toph.
I'm going by the Smash.gg.
Oh, about that.
Should I?
Yeah. It's a Twitch battle. It's a Twitch battle.
I just want to watch
It's only
game
right.
one because I think I'm
Dude,
fucking.
Atrioc is looking nice. Where did this come from? Yo, I just,
What do you mean, where did it come
man out
from?
here, he's really taking that. and
Waffles, what do you
smiling
mean where
like
it come
that.
from?
Like,
It came from hard work,
He's
from
like, no, go Fox,
dedication,
man. Respect
from
it.
practice,
My gangster, bro.
from grind
What you
set.
talked about at work? Yo, Brandon's never gonna live it down too.
Dude.
If he wins this,
Every office meeting where they're
every
there,
office meeting,
like,
yo, remember when I beat you at Bluff? Toph's just gonna be like, damn it.
or like you
Why'd
have
I-
the random coworker that never watches Smash. Like, so who's better between you two?
Yeah, oh me. Well, I won the last time, but no matter what he says.
Bro, that happened all the time at Twitch. That happened all the time at Twitch where somebody in like HR or something were like, you guys play this all the time. Who's the best? And then if you have any recent win, you'd be like, well, I won last time, so guess I'd be the best.
Even he
And
said,
you go
yo, Bluff.
bracket
Wait, I wanna see
says.
this.
Yo,
You can't even make excuses at that point. you go by what the bracket says.
yo. Atrioc is out here. Yo, Bluff for Blood. Yo, we decided once it hit 3 o'clock, everybody just started to just pull off upsets, man. This
Look at the edge guard. Oh,
Happy hour came early.
Yeah, this is definitely happy hour right now. If there's a time to beat somebody. Yo, I
One
barely
more.
beat some Puff player just now.
One
too.
more.
Some guy named Nico who lives in Norwalk but doesn't get to play any of Norwalk.
Oh, and he's not bad.
Yeah, he's
One
good.
more.
I was like, do you play with any of Norwalk? He's like, nah. I was
Nah.
like, damn, they need to hook your boy up. All right, anyway.
Oh.
Yo, my boy Atrioc with the hot two stock. He's
Dude,
out
yo.
here.
Is he gonna cop out? Is he gonna cop?
Anyway, I beat his ass, and then I start pointing at the TV and say, go Fox. And I'm hand on his fucking shoulder. I'm like, go back Fox, bitch.
The bracket's way harder, dude.
You don't want to go into losers.
Just cop out, dude. Do it. Trust me.
That's me pointing at the Fox icon.
Do it. Just cop it out. Make it quick. Just do it.
Dude, do you want to?
You're not thinking.
He's committed.
Yes.
Anyway, then he went Fox and beat me. but the message was sent. The important thing is the message was sent. Do you understand? I put him on a fucking poster. The Falco, at least. It's a moral victory. You can't be doing off mains against me. By the way, if you're going to Genesis, I'll see you there. If you're going to Genesis, I'll see you there because I'm going. Pot committed. I'm gonna road trip down with I think Adish and Rachel and Blur and a whole motley crew. Should be fun. Mildly relevant tweet. What's this? Thank you, esports. This is great. It's like a Counter-Strike or a Valorant player saying thank you, esports, and they have like a brand new Porsche and a fucking Omega watch. And then a Melee player, thank you, esports. it's like $3 and some quarters. Sheesh. Sheesh. That's money, dude. That's probably the biggest local in their area, too. It's crazy. You can look at Melee tournament results like on Meleepedia or what, Liquipedia, and it's like Mango wins the biggest national of 2014. He gets $184. Oh, cool. Dude, what was the flight to get there? It was $300? Wow, sick. Fucking awesome. It's a love of the game type thing, dude. It's a love of the game. Thoughts on the GOAT Lewis Hamilton joining Porsche? I've always said he could do it. That's the thing. The thing I love most about Lewis Hamilton, it's not the Lewis, it's the Hamilton, if that makes any sense. Think on that. Well, it doesn't. Big A, what do you think about Trump's picks so far? I think every one of them is perfect. Yeah. I think you can tell that based on the way I discuss it, I have always supported his picks, and I think every one of them is perfect. I think he got a perfect cabinet. Thanks for your great question. Atrioc, not a single miss. It's crazy impressive. Not one miss. It's crazy to me that, like, you know, I knew that I would love every pick of his, but I thought if there's 300 million Americans, he might get somebody who's top 10% or something, but not the best. But he actually got the single best person of all Americans for every job. That's wild. There's no improving it. So how about that? That's pretty lucky. Year of kindness, Big A. Care to explain this? What's this? This is from my tweets video from today. I don't know. What, did I yell at chat or something? Bix Flux, thank you for the 58 months. 58. Good goddamn. Thank you for the 58. I just finished watching The Big Short for the first time. Is that going to happen again? Unfortunately, it is going to happen again, folks. They're going to give Ryan Gosling more roles. Hollywood can't stop him from being a leading man. The Big Short 2, even shorter. The Bigger Shorter. Unfortunately, I actually do take it back because I love Ryan Gosling. I fuck with Ryan Gosling. Bro, the only reason I bought... Where's my watch that I always wear on stream? I just had it. Where the fuck's my watch? The only reason I bought this watch is because when I was a young, impressionable youth, I watched the movie Fracture starring Ryan Gosling. And I thought he looked so fucking cool in that movie that I was like, one day I'm going to have that watch. So I looked it up and I had it written down for fucking 15 years or whatever. And then I bought it. Yo, Big A, aren't shorts just... No, we're talking about... No. Bro watched Drive and made it his personality. That's not what I did. That's not what I did. First of all, that's a Zoomer thing. Drive's too recent. It's too recent. Millennials watched Crazy Stupid Love and made it their personality. Zoomers watched Drive, okay? Atrioc, how do you explain to my 23-year-old cousin? Wait. Atrioc, can you explain to my 23-year-old cousin he shouldn't show up to work drunk? He won't take my advice because I'm also an alcoholic. But I'm one of the functional ones, I swear. What is this story? What is the situation? How do you expect me to help through a fucking screen? I'm streaming. You have a generational familial problem. This is madman. This is like Don Draper. Your cousin won't. Okay, I got to be honest with you. Let me tell you a piece of honest advice. It will be difficult for your cousin to trust you when you are drunk. When you're doing the same thing. If you are showing up drunk, you can't practice what you preach. You got to practice what you preach for him to give you any credence. Clearwater Revival. I say nobody's really functioning unless they are drunk. Scriptwriter of Another Round. If you haven't seen the movie Another Round, it's that exactly. A bunch of, what are they, Scandinavian school teachers? Swedish, maybe? What is Mads Mikkelsen? Danish? Scandinavian, Danish. School teachers all read a study that says if you are just a little bit drunk, your performance at everything is better. Like, you enjoy the day a little more. You're a little bit better at being a teacher. You're a little bit better. If you're just a little bit drunk, like not a lot drunk, but just like a teensy bit, you're like, that's the premise of the movie. And so they all start drinking a little bit every day. And, you know, it starts good and then spirals. It's a beautiful movie. Another Round. I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched it, it's... and Mads Mikkelsen is obviously incredible in it. I remember Lud mentioning he stopped watching before they spiral. Well, if you stop watching it after the first half, you get an entirely different message from the movie. Then the message of the movie is there truly is zero downside to drinking every single day. Not only no downside, there's actually strong upside. So I would recommend watching the full thing and making your own opinions. I saw your comment. Oh, yeah. Hey, big win in the stock market picking competition for me and Doug, as today Costco announced they're switching everything back to Coca-Cola. Costco's been doing Pepsi since like 2015 or something. And they finally said, fuck it. Demand for Coke is back. Year of soda. Anyway, Doug as a owner of Costco and me as owner of Coca-Cola are handshake emoji victory. This is great. Year of soda. Buy low, guy. Hey, let's do a quick check on Ludwig stocks while he's here. Let's do a quick check on Ludwig stocks. I want to see how they're doing. So I'm looking at everyone's things, and, you know, there's a lot of green here, a lot of green here, a lot of green here. And whoa. What's this? Yikes. You know what, though? Trump coin. We're going to turn it around. Trump coin. LMAO, year-long bet, and y'all worried about week one. True? Hey, caught? True? This man's a long-term investor. He's more of a Warren Buffett with picks like Trump coin. And Apple, the company Warren Buffett sold. True. He thinks in decades. The guy I voted in won't let me down. Bro, speaking of which, I sent this to our little stocks group chat, but I'll share it with the chat. This was on What Should I Do subreddit. I, 31 female, just found out my husband, 34 male, lost $600,000 in Donald Trump stock. How can I get him to stop before he loses everything? Jesus fucking Christ. Women. They don't get it. They don't fucking get it. They don't understand like the mindset you need to be an elite long-term investor. You need to be a diamond hands. Is this cutie's old? That's what Doug said. That was Doug's joke. So anyway, lots of big news in the stock world. Another big winner, if you're keeping up today, if it's just interesting to follow. I have alerts on the stock, so I saw some of this stuff today. Is that Oracle, the company Doug invested in, might be the leader of this TikTok deal. They might take over TikTok or get the majority share in US TikTok. And if that happens, first of all, it'll be a fucking brilliant investment by Doug. That's like, that will drastically increase its value. But also would be the wrap up to this TikTok saga. It would mean it has an American owner for the American part. Although apparently they're giving ByteDance still a share in it. Which I don't know. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of the law anyway. So I don't know. It feels like so many things that I'm seeing recent, which is more about looking good than doing good. It's more about looking good than solving the problem, which is not so helpful, I think. Oh, politics. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, folks? I don't know. Can't help you. Did you see the Australian cruise snow cone? Yeah, I saw that. Racists. I shake my fist at them. Severance enjoyer? Nope. It was too boring. Episode 1. Caught. I'll say it. I tried to watch Severance. I watched episode 1. Shit was boring. Shit was a snoozer. ZZZs. That's right, dude. I don't care. Dude, every question mark, I ascend higher. What is someone have that meme of the blue guy floating? Meme blue guy floating. This every question mark, I float higher, dude. The glow gets stronger. I don't care. Listen, I know it's a good show. I've heard it from enough reliable people. But I got shit to do. That episode 1 did not... You got to hook me. All right? I think Ben Stiller was up his own ass, that episode 1. I'm sure if I fucking... You know what I'm saying? If I Stockholm Syndrome myself and I watched 100 episodes, of course I'd love it. Because I'm already in. Your ideal morning is reading the Financial Times newspaper? First of all... Don't use my own words, choices, and actions in reality against me. Shame on you. Shame on you, first of all. Secondly, that is actually a fascinating way to start your day. The front page of the Financial Times is like a portal to another world full of interesting opportunities and investments and news and analysis. My God, every day I feel like I'm on a wonderland of knowledge. Here's what it's like. Here, I'll explain it to you in a way you can understand. Reading the Financial Times is like, it's like a mysterious, intriguing thriller where like by day I'm doing one thing and by night I'm doing another. It's like almost like I have two different lives and I can't even separate them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you would never understand it if you watch Severance. It's like a really cool, you wouldn't get it. Did you see this? Grifting news. What's this? Yeah, I just saw. I retweeted it. Dude, it's funny. I have never retweeted a tweet and not have someone post it in my chat that same day. Did you see this? Yeah, bro, I saw it. There's a solid chance that you saw it on your feed because I retweeted it. But yeah, unfortunately, fucking Dean Norris, Hank from Breaking Bad, launched a fucking crypto. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there was a thing, but it's gone. Wait, is it real or not? If it was fake, if his account was hacked, is he hacked or not? That would make us so much of a difference.
Hey, it's me, Dean, and on January 25th, I'm declaring it's real. Hey, it's it's me, Dean, and on January 25th, I'm declaring it's real.
So it is real. Or did someone buy a cameo of him saying it's real on January 25th and then use it on his hacked account? This is tough to follow. This is intriguing. Dean friends, smiley face, everyone else sad. Well, I mean, that's the due diligence I need. I'm investing big. I'm about to destroy Ludwig in the marketplace of ideas. If he thinks Trump coin's good, wait till he gets Dean friends. Yeah, this is going to be big. This is going to be bigger than ever. He is hacked. Oh, let's see. Instagram post. My Twitter account has been hacked.
Account has been hacked again, and someone's yapping about some kind of cryptocurrency stuff. So if you see this, pass it on until I can get it back. It's not, if the posts are not from me, I've been hacked. Okay, thanks.
Huzzah!
Hey guys, my Twitter account has been hacked.
I knew I could believe in Hank, dude. Asac Schrader. Holy, that's my goat, dude. The man that solved the devious puzzle of Heisenberg by taking a shit and reading an obvious clue sitting right there on the toilet. He ignored all of the other obvious clues that a police detective should have found and instead had it spelled out for him. Right on the toilet. Sherlock Holmes. Cinema, I've never watched the show. Not having watched Breaking Bad in 2025. Get with it. Get with it. My God.
Hey, Big A, what do you think of intro?
The
advice
in this
marketplace?
fucking crazy. I'm talking here. TTS, I'm about to go off on a rant. I don't even know what he said. I don't know what you said, so I'm sorry, but I don't know what you said. But I'm just going off on a rant. And what I want to say is, in this crazy, mixed up world where the internet has us ever more siloed into different little user groups that have no commonality, where we have no universal things we can share and agree on, Breaking Bad is one cultural touchstone that you should know. It's the one piece of media that a lot of people from different ages and backgrounds can connect on. They have this cultural touchstone. They can understand the references. Before you watch your esoteric anime that no one in your life will have seen, you can watch Breaking Bad and have a one thing. Don't let that down. And you haven't seen Severance? Severance is an Apple TV show, which means by default that like 2% of America has seen it at best. Okay? 2% of America has seen it at best, and it only gets talked about in highty-tighty journals, but not by average people. Okay? So please do not compare Severance, which I'm sure is a good show, not a cultural touchstone, and Breaking Bad, which even if you haven't watched the show, everyone's seen because the memes and the clips are on TikTok. Severance in 2025 is like Game of Thrones in 2010. It's about to pop. You're so fucking wrong. You're so fucking wrong. My God, dude. My God, the cope. That is such cope. Game of Thrones is like a once in a decade cultural phenomenon, and you're just throwing it on your latest show that you would like to watch. Do you guys understand? I want you to say this. How do I phrase this in a kind way? The number of people who watched Suits, a 10-year dead show, in the past week would wrap around all the Severance viewers 100 times. Okay? 100 times. So it's not... Suits was big in India before the USA. Bro just wanted to contribute. Sure, fine. Okay. What does that have to do with anything? I just wanted to throw in a fact. Thanks, Shubham. I appreciate that. Not really relevant, but I like you chiming in. Ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, what else is going on? What else is going on? Are we watching House tonight? I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Perhaps. Oh, yesterday. So here's the tea. The truth. The whatever. Yesterday, I can just say it now. I asked confirmation. Ari got she has a deviated septum. She got like a surgery to like correct it so she can like breathe right and like whatever. And so she was feeling very nauseous when it was done. You know, she's like not feeling very well and her nose was bleeding and stuff. Tried to take care of her. And I may have to do that again tonight. So I don't know. That is why I am on borrowed time while streaming right now. You know, I had to get her some soup and help her out and watch things with her. That's fine. I mean, it went well, and apparently it's awesome. And the doctor says she'll be able to sleep better and breathe better and everything. It'll be awesome. But it just happened, and now she's not feeling well. I hate my deviated septum, Sag. Have you considered looking into a surgery? How expensive is it? I actually don't even know. I'm not sure. I'll let you know how hers goes when it's done. I mean, it's not like healthcare is expensive in America, so I don't understand what the problem is. Are you American? Just use our free healthcare and get it done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I understand if you're like Canadian or something, you're like, oh, I wish I was American so I could get free healthcare and like not have to worry about the costs. But like you're American, so we're the world's richest country. There's something to worry about when it comes to healthcare. Okay, you're good. We're set. Tell Northern Lion finasteride plus minoxidil. Why are you spamming this? I got to be honest with you. I think it might be too late. I think for NL, it might be too late for finasteride, which is about keeping the hair you already have. But I appreciate that, Nick Merckx official. I'm not even sure if Northern Lion showed up with an actual full head of hair. I think it would fuck up the vibe. I honestly think it would fuck up the vibe. I think it would fuck up his viewership. I think it's like the reverse Ludwig. I think it's the reverse Ludwig. It's a brand. He's pot committed. He can't. Yeah, I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work. Like when a fat comedian gets skinny. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, Big A, okay, this is a very sad message, but it is crazy. My dad is depressed because a coworker of his that he really respected died. And the obituary was written by AI and got details like his children's names wrong. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Are you sure it was AI though? What if it was just like a, do you know what I'm saying? Not that I don't believe you, but like, couldn't it have just been a human that was bad at their job? Also, not to like, I don't know. This is a real thing to be sad about, but it is ironic, I guess, that your username is I Hunt Orphans. Doesn't it feel a little bit like off-putting that that's your... Have you seen... Anyway, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm definitely sorry to hear that they disgraced his, I don't know, name and legacy by writing a fucking terrible obituary. You know, a few human words. This goes to anyone. Listen, you want to cheat on your homework with ChatGPT, run it. You know, I'm not your fucking dad. But if you're writing a letter to a friend, or you're going to speak at a wedding, or speak at a funeral or something, fucking write it. People will remember it more, even if it seems less polished or more human. The second you start speaking that AI long slop, everyone's brain tunes out. It's like, it's a nicely polished turd, you know? It has nothing memorable. Yeah, for the personal stuff, you use Grok. Obviously, what I'm saying is if it's for the personal stuff, don't use ChatGPT. Have the fucking decency to use Grok. Make it, you know, have a little fucking class. I have a coworker who every time I text them, half their messages are 100% ChatGPT copy paste and the rest are written terribly. I don't have much issue with AI generally, but it's like next level lazy. I don't understand. Who the fuck is using ChatGPT for text messages? I don't understand. How does that save you time? How does that save you time? Social anxiety, maybe? Thinking is hard? I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose it. Thinking is hard? For a text message to someone you know? What are you fucking talking about? For real, I'm not actually doing a bit. For real. Can someone give me an example of a message? Please, send me a screenshot. What are you ChatGPT? I want to know this. What did they ask you, and what did you need to ChatGPT in response? What was the prompt? I don't understand. I'm not even kidding. I'm not like, I don't know when you'd use it. I'm not fucking AI doomer or whatever. I understand the use cases. I've used it to summarize articles, dude. It's a huge useful case. If there's like a huge PDF and I'm like, just bottom line it. I don't understand how you could use it for writing text messages. My dad recently told me he interviewed a guy who was obviously using ChatGPT to answer the questions. saying, let me check my notes and typing a bunch for an engineer position. Yeah. No, dude, that guy sounds like he doesn't get it, though. The real way they do it now is they have the voice assistant turned on, and it's auto-transcribing the questions and then writing the answers on their second monitor. So they're literally just reading as it goes in live. They don't have to use they're not typing anything. And with that, they are fully able, I mean, the trick is their eyes darting all around, right? And clearly reading. But with that, they are able to, interview for any job, even ones they're completely unqualified for.
Have you heard of Intro? It's an advice marketplace where celebrity founders and investors sell consulting hours.
Are
Kinda
you
like
doing
Cameo,
an
but for
ad?
business
No! No! I'm not letting you do an ad with my fucking... No. Wait a minute. Is this Emily Zhang? Your username is Emily Zhang. Aren't you the Gen Z startup person? Am I crazy? I shouldn't have screamed. Didn't you do am I crazy? Wasn't there like it was like Windows or it was not Windows or who am I thinking of? It was like a Gen Z VC fund. I swear to God, it was like a Gen Z. It was like I am advising people on buying Gen Z stocks. Responded. I'm checking right now. Are you actually Emily Zhang? And is that the person I'm thinking of? Rip me, I'm getting fired. Please don't tell my boss. JK. Whatever. Anyway, don't use my TTS to advertise a startup. Please. Okay. If you want to advertise a startup, just pay me my normal fee and I'll shill it easily. Okay. I'll shill it like crazy, but you got to fucking go through the right channels. Have you seen the operator tool from OpenAI? Yes, I tried it today. Listen, I have been working with Doug to understand this stuff and actually use it. And he's my closest friend that actually knows the latest and greatest. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But it's as I said, it couldn't do a lot of things I wanted it to do in a efficient and easy manner. It required me to still babysit it. So it had some, it was kind of interesting. I tried to get it to like buy something off Amazon, and then I tried to get it to collect a bunch of research about, I just put in my stocks from the competition. I was like, get a bunch of research about these stocks, keep you up to date on what's going on. And it was like decently okay at the second one and terrible at the first one. So I don't know. I don't know if it's, and these are all like pretty, I still think like semi gimmicky uses. If I don't know, I would not even come close to feeling like if I owned a business, and I do own a business, I guess, but it's kind of like a one person business. But if I owned a business, I would feel very uncomfortable just letting that thing run without a human. Get a child from China and it will do it cheaper. Okay. There's probably a middle ground, right? Between child slave labor in China and AI agents. Maybe an employee. What are your thoughts on this whole U.S.-Canada tariff situation going on? Yeah, it's heating up. Trump said he's going to do it on February 1st. Tariffs on Canada. Canada threatening to respond with huge tariffs of their own back on America. The trade war is serious and real, and will harm both countries, but harm Canada more. Pretty significantly. And the market has obviously sniffed that out, which is why the Canadian dollar is doing so poorly. Yeah, it's gonna be annoying. Here's the one thing I think I don't know, DJT is not counting on is that this is already becoming like a rallying call or a uniter of Canadians. Instead of Canadians being super depressed and being like, God, maybe we should, it's like they were already like in a bad spot and divided and like maybe like thinking that his ideas around 51st state were cool. And now it's like, fuck you. And like Canadians from both sides of the political aisle are like uniting in this idea of like, hey, it's like helping them. It's creating a common enemy, which is not what you want from one of your closest allies in northern border. You don't want your president to be the common enemy of a nation. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. The whole 51st thing should have never been said because it just antagonizes an ally. And then the tariffs on Canada are stupid as well. I mean, we already benefit from that trade relationship. I'm such a actually, as I said, I'm pro-tariff. I want a bunch of tariffs so that everyone can see what happens when we have tariffs. Because I don't want to hear about it again for a generation, so I'd like us to do tariffs. I'm coming out and saying it. I want us to do it. I want there to be 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 100% on China, throw them on Europe. I want you to tariff it up. And I want you to get rid of income tax too. And I want us to see what happens and then note that down. And then I'll have 80 more years of life and we can have that locked in. And then in 2120, they can deal with this problem again when fucking Barron Trump's grandson puts on tariffs. Do you have any not financial advice for what to do when some of your investments are fully vested and have made good money, but it feels weird to sell and diversify? Because what if it keeps going up? This is a hard question for you. So you've invested in something. It's gone up a lot. So now you have some real money. And you're thinking, what if it keeps going up? Fine. It's your call to make. But once you have enough money where it's like, hey, this is like an amount that is sort of can change my living standard, then that would be a good time to sell and rebalance your portfolio and be more diversified. Because obviously, all your eggs in one basket works great going up, but it's going to suck going down. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell, as they say. Aren't a few tariffs on China a good idea at least, even if it moves manufacturing to Vietnam, it's a friendlier country? Yeah, as I've said, I'm the one country I am ambivalent. I'm like fine with tariffs on is China. There's a case to be made, especially with how unprepared our vehicle manufacturing is. I mean, it'll just crush all American car jobs instantly if they remove the tariffs on Chinese EVs. So, like, I get why they exist. I'm not, I want a Chinese EV, but I get it. But outside of that, I mean, on allies, it just makes no sense. Tariffs on allies is like just a great way to strain a relationship real bad. Can we tariff the North Pole? Santa seems to be getting the better of us. Santa, creates free toys every year and flies them to the children of our nation. And somehow he's getting the better of us. Why would we? He should pay a tax on it. So when he... So when he like makes a Nintendo Switch and he's flying it in from the North Pole, you'd like him to be stopped at the border and have to pay some sort of tariff. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Are you at all concerned that he doesn't have the liquid cash to do that? Then like maybe just the elves make the toys and then and if he doesn't, wouldn't that be the end of Christmas? That's his problem. Well, yeah, but it's also the children's problem, right? Because then they don't... Rudolph is valuable. I'm sorry, you want him to sell Rudolph to the United States government as a tariff to pay for the toy travel? What are we going to use Rudolph for? Thanksgiving? Military? We're going to strap Rudolph to a drone? This is all a little tacky. For Red 30 die. We're gonna shave off bits of Rudolph's nose so we can make fucking food coloring poison for cereal. Red nose standing by. Yeah, this is all really good ideas. Well, guys, you know what? I wasn't convinced at first, but after you yelled 100 different varying ideas at me and they were all good, I realized I was the one behind the curve. This is genius. Yeah. This should be what our administration focuses the most on, I think, is the tariffs on Santa Claus and what to do with Rudolph. This is a good, probably a really good use of our time and money. I'm surprised that Trump is pushing Saudi so hard to increase oil production. Do you think it's a way to pressure Putin to accept a deal in Ukraine? It's useless. And I said this for Joe Biden too. Every president says, OPEC, make more oil. And then OPEC doesn't do it. Because if they produce more oil, then their cartel's pricing power is destroyed. They don't do it. This is not even a Trump thing. Every president. Joe Biden flew to Saudi Arabia. Every president has flown out there and they go, hey, you know what we need to do is have you guys make more oil to bring the price of oil down. And then they smile and nod and they don't do it. In fact, usually they cut production. But the big difference maker, you know, for the longest time, that was the case. Every president had to fly over to Saudi Arabia and beg them to make more oil so the price would go down. This is USA. This is Saudi. And then in the last 4 years since 2020, the United States added 1+1 full Saudi Arabia of oil output coming out of Texas because of fracking and expanded drilling and just new fucking oil techniques. I mean, they have this. They like frack it and then they push a bunch of water in there and then it's like this shale drilling and the water expands and then they sluice it out and get all the oil. Anyway, we've added Saudi Arabia with output. So the United States has become the world's first energy gigapower. Which has reduced our reliance on OPEC. Now, they still produce a lot of oil, but percentage-wise, especially of U.S.'s oil consumption, it's way less. We produce a ton of fucking oil now. The Permian Basin in Texas is gigantic. If it was its own nation, it'd be like the #1 oil exporter. It's crazy. So that's what's different. So yeah, I mean, if oil prices go down, it would put pressure on Russia, but Russia's problems are far bigger than just the oil price. You know, the economy seems to be just running poorly from a combination of long-term sanctions and working age men dying and an inordinate amount of war spending. You know what I'm saying? Like if you if you have $1,000 for your government and you spend $1,000 on, I don't know, roads or something, there's some sort of benefit to your citizens, right? That increases economic output. But if you have $1,000 for your government and you spend it on bullets or bombs or missiles to kill people, and then in the process, all your people get killed as well, there's no gain. Like you've employed people temporarily, but this money comes from borrowing. It's not a long-term. I think people talk about war like it's this magic economic booster. There's like this misinformation around how World War II just saved us from the Great Depression. That's not really the case. There's no benefit from just taking money and making people do things that are not productive. It has to be productive. Now, some of it you can increase employment and get people to spend in the economy, but a lot of it's wasted. You could take all of, the government budget and pay people to dig holes in the ground and then fill the holes back up. It wouldn't suddenly magically work. It wouldn't. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's just useless. You have to. It has to be productive. We could recreate the movie Holes. Stanley Yelnats. But won't they eventually find treasure? Fuck, he's so base for that. He's so based. What do you think of Canada's nuclear option of putting export tariffs or banning the selling of oil on the U.S. when Canada makes up 60% of U.S. oil imports and the special crude oil that the refineries are made for? Yeah, I mean, if Canada puts a tariff or bans the sale of their oil to the United States, it will significantly hurt the United States. It will also significantly hurt Canada, though eventually they could find someone else to buy the oil. The thing about oil is every single drop of oil that gets mined out of the ground and put into a barrel gets sold. Every single one. Every single one. No matter if you try to sanction someone, they'll always find a buyer. There's too much demand. So I think in that specific example, Canada would eventually find someone else to buy it than America. And America would lose out. It would be stupid. No, they can't. Atrioc, almost all of Canada's oil pipelines. What I'm saying is they would build new ones. Yeah, in the short term, this would hurt Canada very much because they have no other way to sell the oil. 100%. They've built their entire infrastructure around selling it to the United States. But people want oil. India wants oil. China wants oil. Fucking Brazil, everyone wants oil, dude. They'll find a way. The buyers will want it. And if America says, we're not going to buy it, or you're going to put a tariff on it, then they'll find someone else to buy it. That's... I want you oiled up. That's not what we're discussing here. That's certainly not. That's not part of the U.S.-Canada negotiation, I'll tell you that. The tariffs on Canada have to be a huge bluff because any inflation would scare the fuck out of Trump. Bro, I don't think it's a bluff. I think he's going to do it. I don't know. I think there's like this weird sleepwalking people are doing where it's like, nah, we're not really going to get inflation, are we? I'm like, yeah, we are. We are. Everyone's just like going for it. Everyone's just like, ah. I mean, egg prices are already fucking crazy, and now they're talking about it's bird flu. Bro, it's just going to get worse. What if it works? Genius. Then we're good. Then it's a big win. But I don't think so. Trudeau and Trump in sumo undies, all oiled up, tossing Putin back and forth. This is a fan fiction? You know, Trudeau's not even in power. Well, I guess he is, but he's stepping down. This is a Wattpad story? Trudeau. I'm making Trudeau with Trudeau. Why didn't anyone use that bar? I'm out in Toronto making Trudeau with Trudeau. Write that down, Drake. He needs it. He needs it. Comeback season. Will tariffs affect the price of digitally purchased goods? No, I don't know how that works. I'll fully admit, I don't know. I assume yes, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain how it applies to like a Canadian company selling a digital good. I don't know. I don't know how you can route that to avoid enforcement. I don't know. That's something I got to look into. I got to learn more about it. Hey, Luke Skybird, thank you for the 39 months. Atrioc, you looking for any devs to make games with? Grumplestiltskin, you don't want to work with me. You're going to message me for a meeting. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to hit you back at 3 a.m. 1 week later and be like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if, like, the guy was bald? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not an ideal. I can't add another game dev to my plate. Who else is bringing that level of genius? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm not adding value. I'm just saying it's not good for the time. My stupid Chungus life. I like saying that. I do like whenever something goes wrong being like, oh, my fucking stupid Chungus life. It's good because it gets the feeling across, but also it like reminds you to smile. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it like kicks your brain out of the negative thoughts because you said Chungus. I like it. It adds a little bit of whimsy. What if Canada tariffs their cool celebrities? Would America off themselves with no Ryan Reynolds? Might be the cheat code. It would kind of fuck us up if every time we wanted to like put Justin Bieber in a song or Ryan Gosling in a movie, we had to pay Canada a tariff. That would really fuck us. That would fuck up our economy real quick. Next time they want to make a Deadpool sequel and they can't use any Canadians, it's fucking over. Every time Twitch wants to use an NL clip in their marketing, nah, we're fucked. We'd be cooked. Our celebrities are half Canadian. It's actually shocking how many American celebrities are Canadian, given how small Canada is population-wise. What is the full population of Canada? Population of Canada. Dude, it's only 40 million. It's 4 Los Angeleses for the whole country. It's the same as California. California and Canada are the fucking same. That's crazy. They should be a state. Honestly, I wanted to do, I haven't really started this, I only read about it, but I do want to do a presentation on how Hollywood, area around where I'm living, is dealing with not the fires, like just generally the new economic reality in 2025. You know, there was so much of a survive till 25 among writers and crew and staff and actors and everyone in Hollywood. It was like, well, the industry fucking sucks in 24. We're not making as many movies or TV shows. Shit's getting bad, but survive till 25. And now it's 25, and, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about it. Because shit is just not made in LA like the way it was. Hey, Atrioc, my Uber driver told me fires in LA happen because LA is Satan's domain. Dude, Uber drivers just will say the fucking craziest shit and think. The thing about Uber drivers is every time they say it, they look at you like they just know you agree. I remember when Ari and I were in Florida for the fucking Star Wars land, the 10-hour Jenny Nicholson Star Wars land, and our Uber driver taking us there just went on an insane rant against, I don't remember. He was either Cuban or Dominican, and he hated the other one. So I think he was either a Cuban who hated Dominicans or a Dominican who hated Cubans. But he just fucking went off. He like, the whole ride is telling all these anti-Cuban jokes or whatever, and looking back like it, like we're gonna think it's the funniest thing in the world. It was crazy for like a long ride. Captive audience, yeah, it's just that's an Uber driver thing. They just fucking, I can't. Were you laughing along? I was roaring. I was crying with laughter. I was rolling down the window, doubling over. Stop, please. Like, it's too funny. Too funny. Low-key next president gonna be an Uber driver? That is super low-key. I'll be honest with you. That is low-key. A lot of people just type, bro. People just type. I would love that, by the way. An Uber driver becomes president. They actually know what the fuck Uber drivers go through, what the gig economy is like for regular people. Man of the people or woman of the people. Should I call Ari? I called her. You know, she was in the hospital waiting for this nose surgery thing. And I called her because she was bored. I was just talking to her. And I was like, have you met the doctor yet? Like, when are they going to come? And she's like, I don't know. I haven't seen him. And I was like, him? Him, you fucking sexist? Him? You don't know who your doctor is and you think you automatically assume the surgeon's man? It's the key to a good relationship is to constantly try to catch your partner in try to cancel her. Try to get out woked, yeah. And that's why I said you're not a real ally to women, to my wife. Anyway, then she came home and she was telling me, she's like, yeah, the searcher was a woman. It's true. I was right. How about that? Kind of brave. I'm kind of brave for that. Like I'm kind of like doing my part. You know what I'm saying? Men are so much better at wokeness than women. That's like, it's like this snake eating its own tail. That's such a powerful statement. No joke, I refuse to get a tattoo from a man. Why are you as a woman getting a tattoo from a man? All right, anyway. Today's Get Smarter Saturdays. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. Get Smarter Saturdays, a storied institution in Atrioc community lore, where we collectively, as a chat, as a community, and as a union, combine our brain power, spirit bomb style, on Saturday nights to increase our intelligence. And we do that by watching YouTube videos, the greatest single way to learn anything. And the rules of Get Smarter Saturdays are quite simple. Rule number 1 is the video cannot be too long. Rule number 2 is the video cannot be too boring. And rule number 3 is that by the end of the video, we all have to have learned something. We all have to have learned, which means the video can't just be pure humor, pure entertainment. It needs to be funny. I could also take today, I haven't signed up for Nebula yet, have I? Oh, I did actually. Wait, ooh, we could actually watch China Actually from Nebula. We have gotten permission to watch episodes of China Actually on Nebula. In fact, wait, let me make sure they had some rules for me. Let me just make sure I fucking follow them. The only thing I ask is you direct your viewers to go to Okay, here it is. Boom. GoNebula.tv/polymatter. GoNebula.tv/polymatter. I'm going to post the link in chat. This is where you can go if you want to try this out. I'm going to show it again after we're done watching. They've made How Corporations Vote in Hong Kong and China Actually. We're going to watch today an episode of China Actually. It's only like 14 minutes long. It's a series of episodes about what China's actually like. Outside of the overhyped, lamestream media way of telling it. So check it out. We're going to pick one of these. Chat, your choice. The one-child policy. Why China has the only sane nuclear policy. The myth that China lifted 800 million people out of poverty. Why China has no allies. How Chinese censorship works. Why China won't abandon zero COVID. Okay, this is a little out of date because they did. Not to be fucking too specific here, but they did do this. They abandoned it. China's rare earth dominance. I will watch any of these. In fact, we need a multi-way poll. Is there a way to do that? Is there a way to do a multi-way poll? Is there a mod here? I would like official trailer. Well, let's watch the trailer while we wait. What is this? China does have allies. I need to make sure. I need to watch one of these. I want to make sure this is not too one-sided here. But I will have to watch one. Do you know what I'm saying? I have to watch one. Let's see. Well, I guess I can watch the Allies one and we'll find out, right? Let's watch the Allies one and then I'll just know if it's true or not. Or the nuclear one looks cool. All right. Everyone's saying nuclear, so I'll watch it. Fuck it. Let's go!
In May 2008, just 88 days before the opening day of China's first ever Olympic Games, Sichuan province was hit with a magnitude 7.9 earthquake.
Okay.
Nearly every building in the immediate vicinity was destroyed, killing somewhere between 70 and 90,000 people, a large number of which were children attending school.
Extremely sad.
In the days and weeks that followed, all eyes were on China, who, in a rare act of openness, even allowed aid deliveries from the American military. But it was then that close observers started noticing something strange. When the People's Liberation Army arrived, for instance, they brought with them 2,700 radiation technicians, despite there being no nuclear power plants in this relatively rural mountain village.
Was it a
Later
silo?
came reports of concrete blocks spewing out of collapsed mountains. Locals and foreigners alike speculated on what secrets may have been inside. Then, a year later, state media revealed the existence of the underground Great Wall of China, a network of tunnels across China spanning over 3,000 miles.
Doesn't make sense to call it a wall underground, but Great Tunnel of China, perhaps.
Longer than the distance between New York and LA.
Damn!
The question, of course, is why? If a country can possess nuclear weapons, weapons that could, in theory, end the human race, and yet still be a sane, rational, and responsible custodian of those weapons, China might be that country. For starters, it arrived on the nuclear scene relatively late. It was the last of the first.
Do you ever think that if we gave every man, woman, and child a nuclear weapon, then no one would have any conflicts or fights? Because they'd be too afraid of getting nuked? Like, we wouldn't have schoolyard fights. We wouldn't have people cutting each other off in traffic. Because everyone would be it'd be mutually assured destruction. It would be, it would be world peace. Nukes don't kill people, people kill. I think my dream job is to work marketing for like the NRA of nukes, the Nukes Rights Association. Nukes don't kill people. It's every American's right to own a nuke. Okay? People kill people. If you got rid of the nukes, they would just blow up a city with something else.
First batch of 5 countries to acquire them before the Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed in 1968, a full 20 years after the United States. Before that, in 1961, Mao dismissed their importance, saying if you want to fight, you still need to use conventional weapons. Later, as the Chinese arsenal lagged behind that of America, Russia, the UK, and France, the chairman once again downplayed their significance. We don't wish to have too many atomic bombs ourselves.
Bro, that's like horse and carriage owners when Henry Ford's making the car. People are still gonna want to use a horse. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna want to use a horse. Like nothing beats a horse.
What would we do with so many? This may have sounded like a convenient excuse, the equivalent of a kid on the playground saying, "I don't even want more candy. I wouldn't know what to do with it." But this attitude continued even as China accrued more.
Was he wrong, though? I mean, this part is true for when you're fighting a non-nuclear power. But the truth is, have we had armed conflict between nuclear powers? I don't think so. Spectacle, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. I have a raid song for you. It's your birthday? I don't really want to sing happy birthday. I'll sing, what's your favorite song? How old are you? Old as shit, huh? How old are you, Spectacore? 26? Oh my God. 1 foot in the grave, Unk. Jesus. 26? Bro, do you remember the before times? Did you fucking take a dinosaur to school? Holy shit, dude. You're still on Twitch at 26? Unk. Practically dead, dude. I'll sing you the Flintstones theme song. Thank you for the raid, though. Appreciate that.
More than enough knowledge, time, and resources to theoretically catch up. For China, nuclear weapons were almost binary. You either had them, in which case you were defended from a first strike, or you didn't and were vulnerable to nuclear blackmail. The value, in other words, of building the first nuke was tremendous, both strategically and symbolically. But after that, the marginal utility of each additional bomb seemed slim to none.
Yeah.
This belief was reinforced during the Korean War and First Taiwan Strait crisis.
Just like Riz, you either got it or you don't. You are comparing nuclear weaponry to Riz. You know what? It's kind of true. It's kind of true. I mean, one main thing that's coming out with all this U.S.-Canada tension is that Canada doesn't have nuclear weapons. You either got it or you don't, and they don't. Greenland doesn't have nuclear weapons. Panama doesn't have nuclear weapons. It would be a different negotiating position if they did. Ukraine. If Ukraine had a nuke, would this war have happened? Who knows? Panama has Riz.
When the United States considered dropping the bomb but ultimately decided against it for all kinds of practical and ideological reasons. Today, no one knows for sure how many nuclear weapons China has. The best we have are estimates. The Pentagon, for instance, thinks the real number is in the low 200s, while the Federation of American Scientists estimates 350. America, by comparison, has 5,428. Russia, nearly 6,000.
Cool.
According to these estimates, China has less than 1/4 as many total warheads as America has actively deployed. But the Chinese arsenal isn't just smaller. While Russia and the US keep many of their weapons on constant alert, ready to launch at a moment's notice, China does something much more sensible. To prevent misunderstandings, Chinese warheads are stored separately from missiles in peacetime. Meaning that even if Xi Jinping ordered a strike right now, he would have to wait 3 to 4 hours for the warhead to be attached to the missile, for the missile to be fueled, and for both to be positioned for launch. Chinese nuclear forces would probably be placed on alert days in advance, and some experts think that even if China were attacked with nuclear weapons, it might wait up to a week to retaliate. And while the United States reserves the right to nuke who it wants, when it wants, where it wants, China follows what's called a no first use policy. Not only will it only use them if attacked first, but it also promises never to deploy them against a non-nuclear country. If this all sounds too good to be true, well, you're not the only one. For decades, outside observers have looked at China's nuclear posture with suspicion. There must be more to the story. From the South China Sea to the border with India, Hong Kong, Xinjiang, and Taiwan, China is not exactly known as a peaceful, passive, and responsible global citizen. So, after the 2008 earthquake exposed China's network of tunnels, Georgetown professor Dr. Philip Carber started digging deeper. China, he observed, is currently undertaking one of the largest and fastest military buildups in modern history. This, for instance, is the growth in Chinese missiles. In June, the country finished construction on its third and largest aircraft carrier. So too has the underground Great Wall of China exploded in size. And yet, estimates point to only modest growth in the size of its nuclear arsenal. What if, he wondered, these 3,000 miles of tunnel were actually built to hide the truth? That China has been accumulating far more weapons than anyone is aware of, up to 3,000, or 8 times our current estimates. Since then, everyone from the Heritage Foundation to the Trump administration and US Strategic Command have sounded the alarm. China, they argue, is on the path to match, if not surpass, America's arsenal. And if China is hiding this...
I just don't understand why any country truly needs 5,000 nuclear weapons. If you know what I'm saying? There's not going to come a point where you use 1,000 nuclear weapons and you're like, well, thank God we had another $4,000. If you've launched 1,000 nukes, we're cooked. Okay, you're cooked. They're cooked. It's to get the 5,000 nuke special achievement. I mean, truthfully, we really need is one. If you're a nation who doesn't want to get bullied, it just changes everything. If you have one nuke, it's like, oh, well, they can't. There's things you can't do. It's not good for our world that this is the case, but it seems to be the case.
Size of its stockpile, what's to say it isn't also lying about its no first use policy? Partly this fear is driven by history. The Soviet Union made the same promise, only for archives to later reveal much more flexibility. And partly it's driven by actual discussion in China. In 2005, for example, a Chinese general warned that hundreds of US cities would be struck with nukes if the US defended Taiwan in a war. Analysts have also suggested China might retaliate against some other types of attacks, such as a large-scale invasion. By hiding the truth, this argument goes, China reaps all the benefits of appearing like a responsible nuclear power without any of the downsides.
Well, the downsides are cost.
Now, that's one possible interpretation.
I don't want to.
Here's another. At the most basic level, China's goal is to protect the country from attack. To accomplish that, it needs to be absolutely certain beyond a doubt that if it were attacked, it would be able to retaliate. This part is not unique.
Wouldn't that be insane if two countries shot a nuke at each other and they met in midair and slammed into each other and exploded, and then it happened 2 more times? Like they kissed? Whatever country's in the middle is just getting nuclear fallout. What up, Maisie? Maisie, you freaking... I'm not even going to say it. You got to commit from minute 1. You know what I'm saying? You can't... If you slow down... Say it, coward. All right, you hog snarfing bitch. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? How the hell are you? Yeah. Yas. Yas, queen. We're learning about China. I'm just gonna have the best margarita of my life. Wow. I'm getting margarita mogged by Maisie. I don't have a tasty margarita. How about when Ari and I visit Texas, you guys take us to this tasty margarita place? How about that? I'm getting marged.
Unique. What is unique is how China maintains this certainty. The easiest way to ensure your ability to retaliate is simply to build lots and lots of weapons. The more you build, the higher the odds that at least one will survive an attack. But this is incompatible with China's philosophy of minimum deterrence. It doesn't want to build any more weapons than is absolutely necessary. So instead, it carefully watches the moves of its adversaries and responds accordingly.
Okay.
Anything the United States does, however small, to lower the probability that China's nuclear forces survive a first strike or reach their destination must be met with a response from China to maintain that equilibrium.
That's just smart.
And as it happens, the United States isn't just making small steps in that direction. Since 9/11, America has been actively seeking total immunity from nuclear missiles. It doesn't just want to reduce the reliability of China's nuclear forces, it wants to completely neutralize them. Now, China has plenty of reasons to be skeptical. After all, America has been pursuing missile defense for over 40 years. But because Beijing can be comfortable with nothing less than 100% certainty, America need only make the slightest progress in the direction of zero to cause real concern. Which brings us to the underground Great Wall. What if, instead of hiding 3,000 extra missiles, the secrecy of which wouldn't make them very useful as a deterrent, it's hiding the location of the few weapons it does have? No one can realistically bomb 3,000 miles of tunnel, which means no one can...
Watch me. Watch us, okay? That's why you have 5,000 nukes.
reliably knock out all of China's nuclear weapons, which could be positioned anywhere underground. The US even had the same idea during the Cold War. President Carter approved a plan which would have built 23 silos for each of the nation's missiles. Warheads would be randomly rotated between them, making it impossible for the Soviets to know which were active.
Damn, imagine if the Soviets just binked it, though. Imagine if they just said, fuck it, and picked, picked 400 of them, and they just got all the ones right. Like a roulette table. That would be fucking incredible.
At any given time. Another way China has responded is by very subtly weakening its no first use promise. By allowing for a wider range of debate about when China should use nuclear weapons, Beijing creates a kind of strategic ambiguity. Just as our lack of certainty about how many weapons China has makes the world a bit more cautious, so too are we less likely to cross its red lines when we don't know where exactly they are. So, which explanation is correct? Is China lying, or is it responding rationally to America's actions? The answer doesn't depend on your assessment of China's character. This is not about whether or not you believe its promises. Fortunately, there's plenty of evidence on which to make a judgment. For starters, US estimates of China's arsenal have historically been awful. This is the Defense Intelligence Agency's current estimates for the next decade. Here are its estimates from the past. And this is probably the closest thing we have to the truth. Estimates by the Federation of American Scientists. Then there are resource constraints. China stopped production of highly enriched uranium and plutonium over 30 years ago, and only has enough stockpiled for another 250 to 450 weapons.
Only.
Sure, it could start producing these materials again, but that would be costly, take time, and near impossible to do without detection. What the world should be worried about are not secret underground nukes, but the very real possibility for misunderstanding in a crisis. Believing that China is more aggressive than it really is helps the United States better prepare for conflict. But if and when...
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? we're when the country's as big as China and America and Russia, it doesn't matter. This is all like dressing up. Once you have over 100 nuclear warheads on each side, it's it's essentially mutually assured destruction. We're maxed out. You cannot solve the problem with armed conflict, nuclear war.
a conflict does break out, the US needs to be able to accurately interpret China's intentions, free from bias. Likewise, China could very easily escalate by accident. Take one example. Deterrence is impossible to measure directly. China can never be 100% sure that the US is sufficiently scared of its ability to retaliate, so it looks for proxies. One proxy is whether the US commits to no first use. Because if it were truly sure that China could retaliate, it would never even consider attacking in the first place. Thus, there would be no reason, China thinks, not to promise no first use. In other words, because it doesn't, China operates under the assumption that the US isn't truly scared. In peacetime, this cautiousness looks like building 3,000 miles of tunnel. But during a crisis, China would be looking for ways to credibly demonstrate its seriousness. The US, in turn, could interpret that signal as a precursor to war, and respond accordingly. The bottom line is, there's no shortage of ways things could get really ugly really fast. And right now, before a crisis, is the time for the two.
It's fucked up to say really ugly really fast and then cut to a scene of Joe Biden. That's not cool, dude. That's mean. It's mean-spirited. You know, nuclear weapons can hurt us physically, but words can hurt far more emotionally. And that felt like a fucking 20 megaton nuke right to Joe Biden's feelings. I'll tell you that right now.
Two countries to better understand each other. For all our sakes, we should hope they do.
Interesting. That was the same nuclear policy of China from Nebula TV. If you want to watch more of these episodes, and we'll probably watch another one ourselves, you can do it by going to nebula.tv/polymatter. Polymatter. Go.nebula.tv/polymatter. Thanks to Nebula for letting us do this. Very cool. Very fucking cool. All right, now let's see what's on the GSS website. What's on the GSS website? Why Pot of Greed is still banned. Of course I'm not going to watch that. Why streaming will destroy the typical sports fan. Seems kind of interesting. Fuck it.
The other day, I got this notification. What in the hell is Google Services? Then I remembered. Back in April, my favorite team, the Washington Capitals, played the New York Rangers in the NHL playoffs.
Hockey! Oh, God. He's got Canadian or something? LVID, just click off. Hockey, best sport. Bro, can I ask a question? Why in hockey don't they simply take the skates off and try to stab each other with them? Wouldn't that be a cooler... Happy Gilmore to that. Wouldn't that be cooler, is all I'm saying?
Typically, I watch most Caps games through my ESPN Plus account.
Well, technically, it's my brother-in-law Dave's account, but he's cool with it, I think.
But since I live in New York City, the games...
What percent of people in this chat, real quick, what percent of people in chat use somebody else's streaming account? What percent of people are using accounts they don't pay for? Like Netflix, yeah, like a Netflix account that you don't pay for, or a Hulu account that you don't pay for. I feel like I don't know anyone who pays for all their own accounts. Like everyone has a network. Like somebody pays for Netflix, but they borrow Hulu, and then that person borrows Amazon Prime, and everyone is borrowing someone else's. Like everyone. I don't know anyone who's like 100%. I have multiple streaming accounts. I pay for both of them. And then there's the people in here who have like a fucking Plex server and fucking 4 torrent accounts. Fucking rip everything. It's so funny. It's so funny because it seems like so dated to me, but like I think it's just an age thing. Like, of course, when I was fucking 21, I pirated everything. I pirated nonstop. I pirated every game. I pirated every movie. I pirated every song. And now it's like, oh, well, I can't be bothered. What a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. You pirate YouTube videos? Well, they're free.
In New York would be blacked out on ESPN and only available on cable or via YouTube TV, which is owned by Google. It was the playoffs, so I signed up on cable or via YouTube TV, which is owned by Google. It was the playoffs, so I signed up for a free trial and totally planned to cancel it after the Rangers series until next month, the European Football Championship started.
I did the same thing for the NBA Finals. I wanted to watch the Mavs and the Celtics play, and I got YouTube TV, and I forgot to cancel it, and it is a fucking huge ass charge, and I never used it again. So they got me. They got me for fucking $70 or something. Fucking sucks.
Available only on Fox. Then the Copa America tournament, also only on Fox. Then the
I did cancel it through Rocket Money, but I still have to remember. Rocket Money only puts it in there after it charges you, because it checks your bank account to see what you're being charged. So I can't. It doesn't catch it before I.
The Olympics only on NBC and a streaming platform Peacock. Then the U.S. Open only on ESPN. A YouTube TV account would get me all of these, but it was $80 a month, and that hurts because I already pay $15 a month for Amazon, $10 a month for Apple, $14 for Netflix, and $10 for Hulu, partly to watch other sports. And it's only a matter of time before Dave changes his ESPN Plus password. These days, it's getting harder and more expensive to watch live sports.
I think these things have kind of spiraled to the point, where there's frustration, there's confusion.
Sports are stuck in the middle of an all-out war in television. Now, the questions are, why is that making them more expensive to watch?
And can fans keep up?
I mean, sports were the last thing keeping cable alive, and till finally the big tech companies brought out their unlimited checkbooks to start buying it piece by piece. And so they tore it apart like a hyena, and they're buying every little sports league and club and broadcast and putting it on their own thing. So it's all split off instead of one cable.
All right, I'm going to use this Jenga set to show you how watching live sports got so ridiculously expensive. But first, while I set it up, I need to explain how live sports became so valuable in the first place.
Goes all the way to the Bears.
This American college baseball game was the first sports game to be televised live in the US, but it wasn't a huge deal because not many households had TVs in 1939.
Broke!
By 1960, though, more than 90% of them did.
This is when Joe Biden was born. 2% of American households had TVs when he was born. That's fucking crazy.
Leading TV companies to scramble for shows.
And by the way, 3 years later is Trump. Dude, holy God. It's like Mitch McConnell's right here. Where's Pelosi? Like right here. It's fucking crazy. We got people born. Our government is born when people didn't have TVs. Squeaks right here. Me right here.
1960, though, more than 90% of them did. Leading TV companies to scramble for shows that they could sell ads on. Sports were uniquely suited for this.
Advertisers love live sports because people sit down and watch the ad. It's a captive audience, and it's a wealthy audience.
Jacob Feldman covers sports business for Sportico.
the fourth quarter. It's a 2-minute warning. Fans are going to sit there and wait for the commercials before they see how the game ends.
Other live shows like news and primetime scripted shows drew big audiences too. And by the 1980s, they were becoming the core pillar of the TV industry's business model. All right, so these are shows. Orange is going to be live sports. Green are other live shows like news and scripted dramas that air at the specific time every week. And brown are shows that aren't live. TV companies like NBC and ESPN produce all three, and they sell space on them to advertisers. They also charge cable companies the right to package them with other channels.
Fun.
This is called the cable bundle, and cable companies would sell to customers for one easy price.
He's probably going to say this, but like, I'm going to say it first, not pre-watched. I just want to say it. The cable bundle is like one of the most profitable innovations in business history. This was like decades and decades of easy money. The cable companies just siphoned off a tax basically on entertainment from every American for decades. And it made them juicy, 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 fat profits. And of course, they're all very sad that it's over.
So live sports are the most valuable shows in this bundle, but they're also some of the most expensive. And that's because TV companies need to buy the rights to these shows from sports leagues.
He didn't say it. Ha! Ha! Pre-watched. More like I should have added it. Pre-written. Don't be sad it's over, smile because it's happened.
Like the NFL or NBA. Now the magic of the bundle is that this was the only way to watch TV. Even if you just watched nature shows or soap operas, tough. You had to pay for all of it. And that demand allowed cable companies to sell it to everyone for a reasonably low price.
Yeah, I think it was a great business for everybody. Cable companies were making a lot of money because everybody was subscribing, and even if they raised the rates, people kept subscribing because what are you going to do, not have TV?
Of course not. Until the internet arrived.
Da-dum.
So the most surprising thing that's happened to me over the last year is that I've managed to become a morning person. And it's not actually due to the amount of work I have to do. It's got everything to do with tennis. So I started playing a couple of years ago, and I quickly learned a lesson. If you want to play tennis in New York City, you've got to get up early and grab a court. That means I needed a routine.
Is this an ad?
It had to be fast and had to get me ready to play because losing was not an option. Now, a key part of that routine is the sponsor of today's video, AG1. AG1 is a
Well, I appreciate the video. I'm pretty sure AG1 is unscientific. I do appreciate the video, but I did personally turn down AG1 as a sponsor because I think I looked into it and it was like
to try it out. Thanks again to AG1 for supporting Search Party, and I'll take you back to the video. In the 2000s and 2010s, streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime began offering lots of shows, but not live ones, because they were selling subscriptions, not ads, meaning they never needed to draw a live audience at a given time.
Right.
Instead, for a monthly fee, they let viewers watch as many episodes of Friends or Breaking Bad as they wanted. And at first, these cable companies were thrilled about it.
They're like, oh, Netflix is going to pay for our content. You know, stuff we're not airing on our TV channel anymore, but Netflix will pay for it. And slowly over time, over years, and then rapidly, people said, oh, I don't need TV at all. I just...
Slower than all at once, you'd say? Slowly than all at once. Interesting.
See Netflix.
That's why this cable bundle is a Jenga tower. The more people watch shows on Netflix, the less they began tuning in live to watch them on cable.
Breaking Bad!
Dude, what am I... Rachel's here, so good luck, man.
Then the less time they spent on cable meant fewer people watching these live shows.
People are going to watch Saturday Night Live on YouTube. They're going to watch the best Jimmy Fallon bit on YouTube. I don't need to sit there for 45 minutes to see one 5-minute interview with a celebrity like I did 25 years ago.
Eventually, by the 2010s, the only shows that people were tuning in live for were sports.
It is actually insane to think about doing that. as a kid, you know? Like just sitting there and watching the whole broadcast of like a David Letterman or something. And it's like commercials, filler, commercials, filler, you know, one funny joke, one skit, commercials. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I'm watching the entire Atrioc stream. That's different. Every single moment on Atrioc stream is a crackling broadcast, firing all your synapses. It's totally different. It's also live. Do you understand? This is a live broadcast. It's a little bit different than a... It also has interaction. You couldn't yell at David Letterman, glizzy, 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 and have him go, what? Okay? You couldn't yell at Jerry Seinfeld and say, hey, Baldy. That's not... You didn't have that option.
This chart shows that in 2002, the audience for an average NFL game was 52% bigger than for a non-sports primetime show. By 2012, it was 154% bigger.
Okay.
This meant the only shows that TV companies could make a lot of money on were sports. And the sports leagues knew it. Take the NFL. Every few years, it charged more and more for the rights to televise their games. And TV companies had little choice but to pay them. As TV companies started paying more for sports, they began charging cable companies higher fees to carry them. And cable companies had to start raising their prices on their customers. By 2013, it was near $70. Too much for a lot of folks when they could watch TV elsewhere.
Yeah.
This is about when watching TV got a lot
That's
more
when you
expensive
really cut
for
the
most
cord.
people. But many sports fans kept paying for cable, and for many it was still worth it. One subscription got them a mix of every sport. If they didn't want other shows, they didn't need to subscribe to other platforms. And if they wanted more games, they could pay a little extra to get more games in their cable bundle. But as the bundle became more dependent on sports games, streaming companies smelled blood. And Amazon took the first bite.
In sports, NFL fans may be facing big changes when it comes to watching games.
Amazon Prime will have exclusive rights for Thursday.
This is for Thursday, yeah.
It was a small
They put it on
piece
Twitch.
of NFL, but a huge deal because it was the first game not to air on cable. Amazon used it to get people to subscribe to Amazon Prime. The NFL wanted to start getting games on streaming platforms because that's where people were increasingly watching. But it was also part of a lucrative strategy. For decades, the NFL had divided up its games to get more TV companies to bid on them. But now it was slicing them into even smaller pieces so that streaming companies would bid too. And
what if the NFL sliced a game into halves or quarters and each quarter was on a different network? So like I could watch the first quarter on Amazon and then subscribe to Netflix to watch the second quarter. Yeah, each down even. That's not a bad idea. There we go. And then I go to Quibi for the third down. That's good. I mean, now we're really cooking. Now we can make some real money around here. It's like a treasure hunt. Yeah, exactly. It's like more fun. It's a more fun way to watch.
they would make more money. This season, the NFL sold an exclusive game to NBC's platform Peacock. It sold another exclusively
Wait,
to
I'm sorry? Exclusive game? I didn't know that. I'm not a big NFL viewer. They sold one game? So you have to get if you want to watch that one playoff game, you have to get Peacock for one game? Damn, I was joking. That's basically what I said, but real. That's fucking crazy, dude. How can you not subscribe to one platform for the playoff of one sport? That's such a pain in the dick.
ESPN Plus. We don't have any ESPN Plus. What do I do? It's gonna be...
Bro, no wonder everyone's on Stream East for everything. I thought it was like generally, I don't want to pay for it, but like this is crazy. You that's crazy. If you want to watch the playoffs For one season of one sport, you shouldn't have to buy multiple. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Like, everyone should know that's a bad experience.
And it sold 2 Christmas Day games to Netflix for $75 million each.
Sheesh.
It's still just a few games, but it's forcing a lot of football fans to pay for more than just cable. Jacob calculated that fans will need to pay $788 to watch every NFL game this season, or around $322 for games that used to just be on cable. Now, other leagues are spreading their games across streaming platforms too.
You know, I was kind of annoyed with this whole Jenga conceit, but he's making it work. And I'm coming around to it, and I just want to say that out loud. I was a little bit like, this is annoying. It was like a YouTube thing. You don't need to do it. But now it's like helping visualize it in a good way. And I think it paid off. And I just want to say, bravo.
Major League Baseball now has games across
Bravo,
cable,
Vince.
HBO, Peacock, YouTube, and Apple TV. Starting in 2025, the NBA will have games on cable, Peacock, plus 66 games on Amazon Prime. And Amazon also just bought Monday Night Hockey from the NHL. The MLS, bucking the trend, has all its games on Apple TV. What subscriptions you need depend on where you live and how many games you really want to watch. But in general, the spreading out of these games across streaming platforms is forcing sports fans to subscribe to more platforms than they ever have before.
A recent poll showed that 57% of Americans think there are too many separate platforms required to watch live sports.
At the same time, every game they move to streaming...
I'm sorry. Who's the guy voting strongly disagree? Like, who's the guy voting, I want more platforms? I'm annoyed at how few there are. God, I wish there was like 10. CEO. Netflix executives. What a funny thing to say. Like, who would want more platforms?
Platforms required to watch live sports.
At the same time, every game they move to streaming weakens the cable bundle just a little bit more. And at some point, there won't be enough to make this bundle worth paying for. Many believe it comes down to ESPN. In 2025, it announced launching a standalone streaming platform, and many believe it could kill the cable bundle, because without ESPN, it won't have enough live sports to make it worth buying.
Boom!
Now, it's likely that these streaming platforms will pick up the pieces, or maybe something new will come together. But without a one-stop shop for sports, sports fans will need to decide which sports they want to follow and which platforms carry them. It's something super fans will probably do, but what about someone like me, who likes to have a mix of everything?
I think the general sports fan is going to die. I think that concept of being somebody who wants to throw the game on, it's just going to become too hard, too expensive.
Crazy!
And for many, it's already too much. It's probably why some are increasingly finding ways to follow sports without watching TV. A recent YouGov poll shows that people between age 18 and 24 are watching far less live sports than any other age group. Instead, they're more likely to just watch highlights, follow players on social media, and play sports video games.
I do think a lot of people and Netflix...
Yeah, you see this a lot with basketball, where everyone's like the old media guard of basketball is like, oh, the sport's dying, our viewership's down. But if you look into it, it's like, nah, basketball excited audiences are there. They're just younger, and they're more likely to just fucking watch on YouTube. They just watch on YouTube or watch highlights or watch shorts. They're more likely to play 2K or whatever. Like, there's still a huge audience, but they're just not going to pay for it. Thank you for the gifties. Fine, this is the username okay. Thank you. Much appreciated. I can't afford to watch every game. Yeah, I mean, I've become a really big Lakers fan this season, but I still watch 90% through highlights. It's the most fun way to watch. I toss on the fucking YouTube highlights. I get all the best moments of the game. And it takes me, 20, 30 minutes. It's great. There's no fucking commercials. I already got YouTube. Lakers game tonight was a banger. Bro, I'm so excited to watch the highlight. I'm going to do it in bed. It's going to be great. I'm legitimately stoked. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look and sit down after the video, after this stream, and get on the couch or in bed and watch fucking highlights.
Train them this way. Look, if it's on the platform or the app or whatever that I use, great, I'll watch. Otherwise, I'll watch the highlights on Instagram. And I think that's kind of what the next generation is learning.
Leagues are responding by promoting video games, producing documentaries, and pushing more content on social media.
Bro, every fucking sport has a documentary now. A Drive to Survive style documentary. Every sport. They all went all in on it. And now they're kind of a snoozer. Dude, the NBA ones are kind of snoozers. They made a bunch of them for basketball too, to try and like get you into the new. They're kind of snoozers. There's so fucking many of them. Every underwater basket weaving has a fucking documentary that shows you like the different personalities and how this one basket weaves for his family and this guy. Do you know what I'm saying? They're all making the characters to try and get you into the story, so you watch the
video games, producing documentaries.
Yeah, Starting
and
5
pushing
was the one
more
I watched.
content
Starting 5
on
was
social
mid.
media. But these things can't exist without live competitions, and live sports can't exist unless someone's there to watch them.
How big of a problem is that, do you think, to sports leagues?
It's a massive problem. I think sports leagues were perfectly designed for the cable world. As we move into this new world, sports are going to have to either change or accept that.
Bro, I've been saying this. Sports are going to change to become more like Valorant and Atrioc. It's going to happen to every sport. Every sport is going to be more like Valorant and Atrioc, and you're going to be watching football on the Manning cast or whatever, individualized and through fucking whatever platform gets the rights to do that, or Cadrel and Law. The Shaq watch party of basketball, 100%.
They're only popular with this segment of people.
By making games more expensive to watch, leagues are earning billions of dollars now. But they could be taking a huge risk by pushing fans away from watching in the future.
All right, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet to Search Party, now is your chance. We cover.
Good video. Thanks for that. Very interesting. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Oh, a new good work. Investigating Nvidia's world domination.
The newest company vying for the title of the most valuable in the world isn't selling phones, oil, or an infinite stream of vertical video content that lobotomizes middle schoolers. I'm talking about Nvidia, the shop designing tiny little chip doohickeys that power tomorrow's AI technology, led by a masochistic Top Gun cosplayer.
Okay.
But as Nvidia continues blazing its path as one of the best performing stocks of all,
They also made GPUs to play video games once upon a time. At one point in time, they were a gaming company. Very briefly.
of all time, fueling the market's hottest two-year run in a century, Dan Toomey's got some questions. Questions like, what do these MFs actually do? How did they get here? And are we sure the road they're driving our economy down is a good one? Stakes high enough for you? Let's fucking do this.
If he doesn't mention frames when games are the green out, it's badly researched, bad video. I just want you to know that. Those two things sort of made NVIDIA what they are.
The tale of Nvidia begins where most of my nights end. The Denny's on Berryessa Road in San Jose, California. That's where Nvidia co-founder and CEO Jensen Huang embarked on his mission to design fancy computer chips while having the worst logo ever made. Despite his initial sweet boy vibe, Jensen proved to be a tier 1 capitalism maniac, transforming Nvidia from a niche video game graphics chip designer into the
He looks so
primary arms
sweet.
dealer in the race to develop AI and integrate it into society. Now, obviously, there's a ton of complicated stuff that I could tell you about how Jensen and Nvidia accomplished this transformation, but I went to the Ryan Seacrest School of Journalism, where details are the enemy of clicks. So long story short, it turns out that the computer chips Nvidia was building back in the day to make video games look cooler are actually the perfect chip for doing complex computing
How
that
lucky is
tech
that?
companies need to do today if they want to build cool AI stuff.
For example, the fastest selling app of all time, ChatGPT, which is precisely the sort of thing that can only be built using the hardware Nvidia, got a decade-plus head start on the rest of the world designing. And when Wall Street put all that together, well, there's no easy way to say it, but I am a reporter, so I'm obligated to tell you the truth. They jizzed all over the place.
Nvidia's rocking the entire market right now.
Nvidia stock is absolutely
Did you talk about CUDA in this video? Because the real key is not just that the chips are good for AI applications, but the software layer they put on top of it. He does sorta? Okay. I'm not gonna.
bloated today. Nvidia has done it again. Nvidia's stock price went to the moon.
Nvidia.
I just renamed my darn dog Nvidia.
Hey there. Big news, we just got this fancy new green screen. Check this out. Desert!
How about that? Dude, I want one.
Pretty cool.
I want one of these so bad. This could be so fun for stream. How much could this cost to get a room with all green screens in it? That's fucking awesome. You know, I'm renting a spot at the off-brand warehouse. I wonder if I could throw a bunch of green screens in there. And then I could just stream from there. The internet there's so good. I would never have internet issues again. It would cost $3 million. Luckily, I happen to have $3 million that I yoinked from off-brand, so I'm ready for that particular cost.
All right. Tundra! Anyway, all this fun stuff costs us money, so it's time to pay some bills. The Fundrise Flagship Fund is a $1.1 billion real estate fund open to investors of all sizes. Investing in real estate used to be primarily...
Is this an ad for a real estate fund? Dude, what is with these ads? Do not, no. Dude, I swear to God, I'm not trying to knock Dan Toomey here, but this is happening all over. It's actually a good time to point this out. If you are a regular person, you are going to be inundated with ads like this one from all over saying, this used to be only for rich people. We used to require $250,000 or more to do this, but now you can get it for cheap. And that is because they are left holding these increasingly heavy bags of ill-performing real estate assets. And they are desperate to unload them to you, the common man. This is happening all over. And they're spending ad money like crazy because they're trying to get you to invest in a dumb real estate investment that has office buildings and other fucking real estate properties that are declining in value and they can't sell. Please don't buy into this. This is almost certainly a scam. Not a scam's the wrong word. You're going to have a piece of the real estate company. But it's the fact is the managers of this know that the growth opportunities aren't good and they're not going to get it from rich people, so they're trying to get it from you.
primarily limited to rich institutional investors. But all you need to invest in the Fundrise Flagship Fund is $10. Investing in real estate can be a good way to diversify your portfolio and also hedge against some inflation.
I straight up hate this.
So if any of that sounds up your tree, do yourself a favor and go check out that Fundrise Flagship Fund. Himalayas! On May 25th, 2023, Nvidia's market cap increased by over $200 billion. One of the largest single-day gains.
It was the largest.
Around the same time, Jensen told investors that Nvidia had sold its supercomputers to 50 of the 100 largest companies in America, a feeding frenzy that's still leaving our economic waters chummed and bloody. Big tech now spends hundreds of billions of dollars annually on AI chips, hoping to create more ChatGPT-like breakthroughs, and Nvidia controls a whopping 90% of that market. Since ChatGPT's release,
it's kind of funny because Nvidia also has a 90% market share on Steam. So it transferred 1-to-1 from video games to AI applications. Gamers knew. The green out worked. Yeah.
Nvidia's stock has risen over 900%. It accounted for a quarter of the S&P 500's gains last year. And yes, it's now trading places with Apple as the most valuable company in the world.
This stock has a cult following in the truest sense of the word.
Emma Cosgrove is a Business Insider reporter covering Nvidia and the broader AI ecosystem.
I have seen poems written about Nvidia, really flowery letters to Jensen posted publicly. Last year at G2C, which is their big conference, Jensen Mong signed someone's boobs. So
now I'm sure the wet blankets among you are looking at these Nvidia bitty titties and thinking, surely Arise, this meteoric must be a little overrated. But unfortunately, haters, I regret to inform you there is a strong case that Nvidia might really be worth all this noise. They have historic revenue numbers and sell an actual product that the richest companies in the world keep buying over and over again. And it's not just chips. Nvidia sells all the shit around the chips that you need to get them to work, making customers dependent on Nvidia's infrastructure and leaving
software.
competitors struggling to find a way into the market. The point is that if it turns out AI is going to be the basis for all of society's future technology, a world full of AI search engines, warehouses, cars, robots, virtual doctors, and more, all driven by acres of data centers filled to the brim with humming racks of Nvidia chips, then it seems like Nvidia is perfectly positioned to dom the economic universe for the rest of time. But whenever something seems perfectly positioned, well, that's when my investigative bone gets peaked to poke around in there. See how perfectly positioned it really is. Do a little hokey pokey. I start asking questions.
relations between Taiwan and China are a threat to the entire semiconductor ecosystem.
Ha! Bingo! Perfectly positioned my tush.
All these companies rely on a single company in Taiwan, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, TSMC, which is the world's most important semiconductor manufacturer. It produces around 99% of the chips that are used in developing artificial intelligence systems.
Chris Miller is the author of Chip War, which details the rise of semiconductors into becoming the world's most crucial technology.
As China's military power has grown over the last couple of years, and as Xi Jinping has turned Chinese foreign policy in a more aggressive direction, this has become a more real risk. The challenge that tech companies face, though, is that there aren't great alternatives.
Even though it seems to be a somewhat precarious position for...
All right, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. If you are a big tech company and you want someone to build your chip, I will make it here in America. In sunny Los Angeles. Okay? I will do it in my garage. I built all the Nvidia GPUs when I was there. I was the guy responsible. In the 5 years I worked there, I was responsible for building all the GPUs by hand. I will build new ones, American made, right here, right now. The only thing you have to promise me is that you'll protect me from Xi Jinping. Because he's threatened to invade my garage.
For Taiwan to be the ones who manufacture all of these chips, Miller High Life here emphasized how difficult it would be to whip up new factories somewhere else, despite our best efforts. But China invading Taiwan isn't the only potential speed bump on Nvidia's road to world domination. For starters, even though Nvidia is by far the biggest fish in the semiconductor pond today, they'll inevitably face some competition, either from their customers, the big tech companies who are developing their own chips so they can stop Venmoing Jensen fat stacks for Nvidia's, or from other dedicated chip developers like AMD or Intel or some other startup I haven't heard about yet.
Nvidia's got, I think, a challenging couple years ahead of them as they need to race ahead of all these competitors. These aren't unimpressive competitors. These are the biggest tech firms in the world. And so it's far from guaranteed that Nvidia retains the pretty extraordinary market share that it has today.
But you know what, Chris? We could spend all day wondering about whether or not some competition might come down the pike for Nvidia. But
AMD, more like AM dumb. Holy shit. Can I offer you a job right now? This is like a Suits moment. You're the greatest semiconductor marketer I've ever seen. I've been in this industry a long time. I've never seen someone with a natural fucking ability to tear down a competitor with a catchy slogan. AM dumb. I'll offer you 600K total comp. Cash in stock. All you have to do is work 1 day a month and give us a brilliant idea. Like that. Too low? Damn it. Damn it. I knew he'd have other offers. You win this round.
Right now, when I look at the extraordinary market share Nvidia has today, and when I read estimates that apparently their $25,000 chip only costs them $3,000 to make, oh boy, I start smelling whiffs of a big old stanky ass illegal monopoly. Are you sniffing what?
When was this made, Dan Toomey? What administration do you think we're in? Lena Khan is fired. They're not going to fucking crack down on Jensen Huang in the middle of the AI war with China.
What I'm whiffing, former chairman of the Federal Trade Commission under Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama, Bill Kovacic?
For conventional antitrust purposes, the answer would be yes. The tricky part of the analysis is that it's a very dynamic setting. Firms rise and fall, sometimes fairly quickly. A key issue is how durable their position is in the market. Right now, for AI-related chips, it's quite substantial. The reason we're seeing so much scrutiny at the moment is a belief on the part of the antitrust authorities in the United States and abroad that if you wait too long, you lose your chance to shape the evolution of the industry.
Bill told me that the antitrust folks today tend to look back on the early days of tech giants like Google and Meta and regret that they didn't take more action to prevent them from gaining so much power. Which is probably why last year the Department of Justice joined Europe and China in scaling up its investigation into whether or not Nvidia has violated antitrust laws. Now, jury's out on where all that's going to go with Trump rolling into Washington. But even as Nvidia avoids antitrust penalties, there's another, probably bigger
Well, pause, because actually, there's a second part to this. So I don't think the United States of America will do any antitrust enforcement at all on Nvidia. Too much at stake in the AI war. They don't want to mess up the golden goose. Also, it fucking is half of everyone's retirement portfolio, so it's like they're already praying it doesn't drop 10%, let alone fucking. However, other side of it is that China has been talking loudly and more directly about antitrust investigations into NVIDIA. Largely because they're getting blocked from selling chips there. Like, NVIDIA is not allowed to sell the high-end AI chips to China. And so China's like, well, what the fuck? You can't sell anything here then. We're going to... So it's interesting. It's very fucking interesting.
Challenge lurking for Nvidia and tech's AI revolution at large.
The ultimate ceiling on AI is energy availability. It's the most important one. As far as I know, no one has solved for it. AI data centers could add 3 New York cities of demand to the US grid in the next 2 years. And that's from July, so we're 6 months in.
There's evidence that AI's massive energy needs are actually sucking up so much power from the grid that it's distorting the flow of electricity to millions of homes, causing billions of dollars in damage and even making household appliances run hot and rattle, which means bad news. We're going to have to put down the Pixar lamp. Anyway, one potentially promising solution is getting clean energy from nuclear plants, something all the...
From clean coal, folks. We are going to have an AI data center powered economy, and we're going to do it from clean coal. We're going to burn that clean, good coal. I want to see 300 new coal plants in each state in America in the next 4 years, and I want to see it now. Clean coal.
Big tech groups are investing in. However, nuclear is notoriously finicky, especially in the US, where investment has been lacking, so that move isn't a sure thing.
It's a point of great conflict for me personally when I think about the emissions generated by like a single grok image made for funsies. The value of what we are creating with AI, we don't get to decide, like the societal value of it. Everybody gets to use it the way they want to use it, and it is incredibly energy intensive and therefore quite emissions driving. And
I would dump 1,000 gallons of fresh water into a volcano and burn them up and run a million gigawatts power deficit if it meant I could make a funny image for Grok Tua. I'm sorry. If you want to cancel me for that, then do it. But at the end of the day, Grok Tua is funny enough that it's worth it. There is no environmental damage that offsets how funny Grok Tua is.
That's uncomfortable.
And listen, folks, we've been touching on some pretty heavy shit. Global conflict, antitrust laws, sacrificing the planet so I can slap a photorealistic penis in the middle of Dennis Quaid's forehead. But none of these concerns will even matter until somebody figures out how to turn all this investment in Nvidia technology into AI products that people actually want.
What is the killer app? What has changed about most people's lives from ChatGPT? What has changed? And the
people cheat at every single possible school-related thing. People are unable to communicate with each other in long sentences, whether by a text or by email. People can create spam bots and fake reviews at a moment's notice to pollute every social media platform with endless slop that disguises our ability to talk with each other and know what everyone's thinking. We can apply for every job instantly in a click of a button. 100,000 jobs applied to instantly with AI-generated slop resumes so that nobody can actually get picked through a normal filter. These are all the benefits. Then this is worth it. What are some of the downsides? I can't think of one.
answer is
all positives.
Really not much other than boiling oceans to generate bad images.
Hold up. You just made Dennis Quaid flaccid. Not cool. Ed Zitron is an author, newsletter writer, and AI skeptic. One of his main arguments is that for all of the money we've seen pouring into artificial intelligence, and for as high as Nvidia's valuation has gone, we haven't actually seen anyone turn AI into a really good, ubiquitous product.
It's people saying, AI chip come from Nvidia, Nvidia go boom, money, money. And you can run a stock market pretty high on that, but that's an entire narrative-based run. Like, Nvidia is selling real things and these exist and they're getting money for it, but how much of that is fueled by hype? I would say almost all of it.
Now, to heat check sad English me for a second, is anyone else out there this down on big AI's go-to-market plan? Well, some pretty smart folks think AI isn't going to be as huge a part of the economy as big tech thinks it will be. Meanwhile, we are running out of data to train stuff like ChatGPT, and reports from inside OpenAI indicate that they are struggling to make the next version better than the current one. Even goddamn Google says fattening up your data center with more Nvidia chips just ain't advancing AI like it used to. And Ed here argues that once we see the limits of AI more clearly, the big boys who've been driving these chip purchases—
I mean, I disagree with this like pretty wholeheartedly. Feels a little little seed. I agree that it's all overvalued. I mean, that's what I made in my video. But it has extreme, apparent, and obvious uses. It's just working. I use it today. I debated ChatGPT about MMT because I fucking hate MMT. I think it's so stupid. But I was like, all right, I'll debate you. I just wanted to know. And it was interesting. It was like going back and forth. It was like fun. Like I learned something. It's like there's things you can do. It's like there's obvious use cases that people are using it for, and it's being applied in a lot of different ways. I don't think it's. I think the demand is there, and it will get used more and more. But they got to make money from it. It's the hard part. Did you win? Yeah, the only problem with debating ChatGPT is it's too polite. I kept telling it to like actually debate. And it kept saying, wow, that's such a good point. I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, well, can you give me a counter argument? And it's like, well, I guess. It's like it was just too, but then the actual arguments would be interesting.
will stop reaching for the checkbook.
They're all following each other. So at some point, investors are going to start saying, this doesn't seem to be making money. In fact, they seem to be losing money. Once one of them slows ordering, everything falls down, and there really is not a backup plan there at this scale. Not saying that Nvidia will disappear, that's not true, and anyone suggesting otherwise is very silly. However, Nvidia's in a weird spot right now. I would start worrying. I mean, I'm perpetually worrying, but that's just being British.
Indeed, maybe Ed is just being British. So let me say it plain like an American. Nvidia is rich as balls. They've gotten this rich because they think AI is going to be the future of basically everything, and the rest of big tech is following their lead. And because of how rich and powerful Nvidia now is, the idea that all of the resources we're pouring into this will give us back a productive AI-centric future has become a narrative we're all just kind of accepting. But Nvidia's bet on AI is still just that, a bet.
Was this a good idea? Not even from a AI taking over the world perspective, but from a should we have made these really big expensive data centers that are now sunk cost essentially? Should we have done this? Was this what we needed to do to bring about the next era of human productivity? I mean, the people I speak to every day are 100% sold. The gulf between true believers and those who think we're making a massive mistake. There are really smart people on both sides.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Emma. So the next time you see Jensen talking up a big game on stage in that old leather jacket, or the next time Nvidia's market cap becomes the highest in the world, just remember, everyone's gambling.
True.
Some people are just doing it with a lot more chips.
Hey, ice cold ending line. Don't wink so much.
Good work on Dan Toomey.
He oversold it. That was a nice cold ending line. I don't like. Just cut there. It was such a good ending.
And in other news, serial journophile Dan Toomey has been apprehended by authorities after his use of AI software to generate an image of Dennis Quaid with an erect penis on his forehead emitted thousands of kilotons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, desecrating 38 miles of tropical rainforest in Papua New Guinea. Officials say it took Toomey upwards of 300 times to generate the image on Grok so he could, quote, get the shaft how I wanted it. Mr. Toomey faces 48 years in federal prison, although in response, Dennis Quaid's lawyers said, we're only happy if he gets life.
Good ending. Good ending. Good ending. Ba-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. But, I mean, this was worth it. Tell me this wasn't worth it.
Cruising down the street, red, white, and blue. Got my truck, my beer, my Putin tattoo. Elected Putin, man, ain't that cool?
Brotherhood of a man sticking like glue. He's a tough leader, strong and wise. Stands up for his country, never compromises.
Got that swagger, that Putin style, making Russia great mile after mile.
It's such a fucking fire song. I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. Hey, Atrioc, why are diamond prices crashing? It's a good question. It's because lab-grown diamonds are now culturally acceptable to buy, especially among Zoomers and millennials. They simply don't see a difference. They're not going to buy old, fucking farmed out of an African mine diamonds. They're just going to buy lab-grown diamonds, and they're way cheaper and more ethical, and they look nicer. And for a while, there was marketing against it. They're like, you don't want a lab-grown one. It's not as cool. It's less than. And so it was holding up for a while, but finally the dam broke. Enough people have bought lab-grown, and they don't care. And so this huge fucking stockpile they have of real diamonds is becoming worthless. They have so many stockpiled to try and keep the supply scarce, and it's worth. It's like a complete collapse of the diamond business model, which is a good thing. Who fucking cares about De Beers, dude? The next step is The next step is not even caring about diamonds at all, bro. Except for the ones on my chain and my wrist. The ice on my neck be lab grown. Is that a rap line? Imagine. Rocking a lab grown chain because it's conflict free. Let's see what else we got on this list. And should all acquaintance be forgot? Keep your eyes on the ground. Why we like rage games. Interesting. About Nebula. Interesting. Every single Kong. Not going to learn much from that. Is Seattle doomed? What Russia doesn't want you to know about their history? The number one exercise to lose belly fat for good? What are you trying to say? Why is that something I need to fucking watch? Actually, after today, I might need this, dude. Fucking Ari made cookies, and I housed like a plate of them. Oh, they were just so tasty, and they're just sitting there, and I kept picking one up, and I was like reading, and I just kept... I fucking housed the plate of cookies. Piggy needs his slop. Is that how you talk to somebody? I'm just sharing with you a story about how my wife made some cookies over here. You don't say Piggy needs his slop. That's not appropriate. Okay, that's not a nice way to communicate with another human being. By the way, it wasn't slop. It was a tasty cookie made by my wife. Year of kindness? Year of kindness for me? You're YOKing me on that one? He said Piggy needs his slop because I told him a story about eating cookies and I'm getting YOK'd? No, fuck off. No, year of kindness is a response function. Year of kindness is that I'm not picking on the downtrodden. I'm obviously going to stand up. Let's see. Who's taking America's water? Thirsty singles near you? Disney, the world's worst tech company. 16 Indian philosophies explained like strategies in a video game. That's kind of funny. Minecraft's secret cousin, Atrioc Bumblebee edit peak. This is 31 seconds. Okay. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. That's peak. I must say, that's peak. The secret economics of escape rooms. Interesting. What did the Romans think about Egypt? What happens to the world's largest tube TV? I'm looking for something good. The most genius kidnapping in history? Maybe. The senator who tried to ban popcorn in movie theaters because it was socialism? He was right. We can trace all of America's problems back to the fact that we didn't ban it. People are still eating fucking popcorn in movie theaters willy-nilly. And it's fucking ruining our country from the inside. The point people missed about cars? Perfect ending. Dude, why is there so much like car slop on YouTube? Like analysis breakdowns of the story. Dude, I saw a video It had like 3 million views. I got it in my YouTube shorts. And it was it was every character in Cars ranked by the number of Piston cups they got. And it was long. This is it. This is it. This is the video. It was actually, no, I'm sorry. It was... It was every Piston Cup winner by year. It's a 5.5 minute video. By the way, none of these people are in the movies. So it's just made up. It's canon? No. Actually, I knew you'd say that, so I looked it up. It's not canon. It comes from a fan-made wiki, and it's totally made up. I figured you'd say that, so I checked. They filled in all the fucking slots that aren't from the movies with fake characters. Dale Earnhardt? Dale Earnhardt was a car and he won in 1991? And 94? Murray Clutchburn in 96. And there he is, folks, the GOAT, Strip Weather. Eugene Karborowski. Everyone remembers the 98 Piston Cup winner, Eugene Karborowski. Rusty Corn Fuel. The Mac iCar. Fucking cinema. Fucking cinema. Strip Weathers again? Bro, this guy's career is crazy. Strip Weather's the mango of this shit, coming back decades later to win another Piston Cup in 2004? And then, of course, the dominant era. We all know it. Fans of his loved it. If you weren't a fan, you had to sit down and shut up for a long time because Lightning McQueen dominated the mid 2000s. You were saying ka-chow in 06, and you were screaming it in 07. Oh my God. Oh my God. 3-time? 4-time? That's oppressive. That's a dynasty. Oh my God. And then ran it back in 2015. That's crazy. That's crazy. Obviously, Jackson Storm, Cruz Ramirez, Jackson Storm again. Chase Race-A-Lot in 2020. COVID year. It was a bubble race. Race-A-Lot wasn't that good. It was a different time. Tim Treadless. Ryan Laney, and Paul Conrad. Anyway, I watched this whole fucking thing now twice. What a fucking waste of time. What a fucking waste of time. What a fucking waste of time. And you know what? I haven't even seen Cars 2 or 3. I've seen Cars 1. I haven't seen Cars 2 or 3. So my algo's peak? Yeah, I guess. America did dominate. Chick Hicks in 2005 is the definition of a Mickey Mouse champion. Strip Weathers is the inarguable GOAT, IMO. Dude, all of these comments are just like it's real. They're just treating this fucking video, which isn't even canon to the fucking story, like it's real, and they're just arguing. Kids these days talking about McQueen, but they don't know the scene when Jack Ford won his second after 9 years. In those days of corruption, it was a miracle that an honest car like him won. The fact that King was racing so long he was able to race a rookie McQueen is crazy. Little did anyone know what kind of dynasty McQueen would have. Must have been amazing to see two legends race at the same time. You can just go do it right now. You can go pop in the DVD for Cars and watch it. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Imagine how many more cups Doc would have won if they didn't quit on him. Spider Danger 4 gets 0 respect, yet he's the 3rd best of all time statistically. Fuck, true. We're not respecting Spider Dangerford. That's a problem in America right now. McQueen Prime was really insane. Dude, these are funny comments. They're all committed. That's too funny. Disney Plus should make a spin-off of mini documentaries of each racing season. I'd watch that. I can't imagine anything more boring. A Cars spin-off for every one of the 58 racing seasons since the... Anyway. I don't know why we were there. Anyway, let's watch the Cars video. The point people missed about Cars. Well, we're already in. Let's fucking go. In for a penny, in for a pound. What do we miss?
The ending of Cars is interesting to me for a number of reasons. I've seen plenty of people who really like this movie, plenty of people who really don't, and plenty of people who are just okay with it. But this moment is one that pretty much everyone seems to like. Throughout the movie, Lightning McQueen has been desperately trying to make it to California for the biggest race of his career that could potentially make him a racing legend.
I'll be the first rookie in history ever to win it.
Over the course of the movie, though, his priorities start to shift, and for the first time in his life, he starts to genuinely care about the people around him. Despite this, though, when the time comes to actually do the race, Lightning does pretty well, thanks in no small part to those friends. The final lap comes, and Lightning seems to be a shoo-in for the Piston Cup, which would make all of his ambitions a reality. Yeah. Meanwhile, behind Lightning, Strip Weathers and Chick Hicks, resigned to the idea that neither one of them is winning at this point, are duking out in a last-ditch effort for second place. That is until Chick, as he's often known to do, takes things one step too far.
I am not coming in behind you again, old man.
Oh!
Lightning, noticing what's just happened, screeches to a halt just short of the finish line, allowing Chick to overtake him and going back to give the retiring champion a dignified end to his career.
I think the king should finish his last race.
It's a nice ending that demonstrates Lightning's growth from a superficial celebrity to a more caring and respectful person.
Yeah.
But while pretty much everyone seems to agree with me on this, there is one point that I've heard a few people bring up, even if they do still like the ending.
Okay, but like, if I was him, I would have crossed the finish line and won the race and then gone back to help the king, but I guess this is a better lesson learned or whatever.
The finish line is right there. Come on, just go an inch further. Please, Lightning.
Lightning grows a conscience at the stupidest time. A moment that should show me how much he's grown actually makes me physically angry.
It is true that Lightning helping Strip Weathers and taking the Piston Cup, which he won fair and square, are not mutually exclusive, and he could have very easily done both. But I feel like when people say that he's giving up the championship unnecessarily, they're kind of missing the point.
It's not about the Piston Cup.
Let him cook.
It's about sending a message.
Joker clip to explain that. Holy fuck, I'm turning into the Joker with how much the Joker is being used. Oh, that's beautiful. That really caught me off guard. I do agree with him, though. He's cooking. You know what? He's cooking. If Lightning McQueen gets first place and then goes back, he's not sacrificing anything. He hasn't really learned anything. He's having his cake and eating it too. There's nothing symbolic about that. He's given up nothing. It's a PR stunt at that point. If he gives it up, it's saying that the friendship and honor and respect is worth more than just winning, obviously. And by the way, probably gets more sponsorships too.
To get across what I mean by this, let's take a look at what actually compels Lightning to do this. After he sees Strip Weathers sitting in pain and completely wiped out, it immediately reminds him of Doc Hudson, who he learned earlier in the film had his racing career end in a similar way. Doc was injured during a race, and it took a pretty lasting toll on him. Not so much physically, more so in reputation.
When I finally got put together, I went back expecting a big welcome. You know what they said? Your history.
This sets up sort of the uglier side of racing that Lightning hadn't considered before. Throughout the early portions of the movie, the races are treated as this big spectacle because that is essentially what they are. They're sporting events primarily organized as entertainment for an audience. And in those events, the racers are there to impress the audience by performing feats like outrunning dozens of other cars at hundreds of miles per hour and weaving through any hazards that come their way. If done right, it seems as if they're invincible. Lightning, being relatively new to the racing circuit, has had the first impression of what that's like. He's amazing at what he does, and as a result, he has entire stadiums of people gathering to see just how amazing he is. To Lightning, this is...
How many YouTube videos are going to just retell the story they're talking about? I assume if I'm watching the point people miss about cars, I've seen cars. It wasn't like I didn't. Everyone watching this knows the basic plot of Cars. It's a children's movie that we can all pick up on.
Is a reality that he only sees getting better as his career goes on. I mean, if he's getting this much love as a rookie, imagine how much of a god he'll no doubt become after he wins the Piston Cup. But then he gets to know Doc a little bit, and it's revealed just how fragile that love really is. Doc had similarly built up this reputation as this legendary racer and enjoyed the benefits of that for a long time. But after
I just don't get it. I don't get why this type of content is so appealing to people. Because I just can't imagine caring about this video unless you've already seen Cars, and then he's just recapping Cars for you. I'm fine with the beginning. He's cooking. He's making a point. And I'm sure I'm fine with the end where he gets to the point. But in the middle of every one of these fucking essays, they just recap the Wikipedia plot of a movie or TV show that you've already seen. I can't.
Getting completely wrecked mid-race, he unwittingly did the one thing that can destroy that perception of him. He made it too real. All that spectacle that people loved him for and made him seem unstoppable was shattered, and from then on, nobody ever saw him as anything more than just another car who's as flawed as any other. And what's so impressive about that? And it's that shallow perception of the Piston Cup and its racers that Lightning was annoyingly playing along with. Throughout the early portions of the movie, he was showered with love and admiration from total strangers while also having an equally shallow view of the supposed riffraff that come with the gig. His only friendly interactions take the form of people heaping praise on him while he was being incredibly dismissive of anyone less remarkable than him, like his pit crew or the rusty cars that look up to him, not realizing
Someone said, can you put it at 0.75 speed? I need to take this all in.
just how easily that status of less remarkable could be applied to anyone, even someone like him. Fast forward to the final race of the movie, where Lightning has become a little bit wiser as to where the value in a person comes from. Lightning is in a safe position to receive everything he's always wanted, but when he sees Strip Weathers wiped out, thoughts of Doc flash into his head.
Yeah.
In particular, what happened after his wreck.
Yeah.
Moved right on to the next bookie standing in line.
And now it's up to Lightning if history is going to repeat itself. A multiple-time Piston Cup winner suffering a painful end to their career, only to be overshadowed by a rookie doing something impressive. In his case, being the first rookie to ever become a champion. And with the entire world watching, Lightning decides to set an example. He makes a statement to the entire world that while he's willing to race, he's not going to participate in a competition where such disregard gets rewarded.
This grumpy old race car I know once told me something.
It's just an empty cup.
Of course, while all that is going on, there's a certain character who doesn't seem capable of that level of reflection. To me, this is where Chick Hicks is at his most interesting. Up until now, he was a fun, fairly one-note antagonist, which was all he really needed to be for most of the movie. It's at this point, though, when all the negative superficiality that exists in the racing circuit is taken to its absolute extreme. You know, generally, if you're in a competition that you've pretty much already lost in every way except technicality, and then the would-be winner just forfeits their guaranteed victory at the last moment, you'd probably feel a little unfulfilled. I mean, Chick was in no position to catch up to Lightning legitimately, and only won because at the race's end, he literally had no active competition.
Yep.
And yet, he's just so pleased with himself. No consideration for how he cheated to get to second place, no acknowledgement.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's the bad guy in a kid's movie. Like a 5-year-old would. Oh man.
Meant that he's demonstrably not the most skilled racer who competed. Not even any curiosity as to why Lightning stopped short of the finish line. All that matters to him is that he's the champion, showing that he never really cared about the race. It was only ever about the glory. Not to mention, we can see that little message that Lightning was trying to send paying off in a few different ways. First, with the guy who came in last getting a massive cheer from the audience, while the Piston Cup winner is shown having such a lack of empathy and narrow-minded view of being someone of worth that he legitimately can't understand why people don't like him.
Hey, how come the only one celebrating is me, huh?
And finally, while nobody wants to give Chick any attention, look who the press do want to speak to. I've made it no secret.
Holy shit, I never noticed that. Holy shit, I never noticed that. The press wanted to speak to the hero, the protagonist, the one that kids like when they watch. It's almost like the... How did I miss that? I thought the point of the movie was about how Chick Hicks was right and he was great. But now I'm seeing there's a whole different message they were subtly trying to get through.
In the past that Cars is not a movie I'm overly fond of. Not that I don't like it, it's just that I don't have particularly strong feelings about it overall. But there
Oh, I might end stream. I can't. I straight up can't. That's too funny. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, actually. That actually is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Whoo! All right. Chat. I need a video I can learn something from. I need a video I can learn something. That was good. Good suggestion. I learned a lot. Nuclear waste is reusable? Why aren't we doing it? That sounds based. How the creator of basketball sucked at his own game. Dude, 35 minutes? That an old fucking Canadian guy wasn't very good at basketball? Insane. What an insane roast. Neo Miss Independent. Banger. Banger song. Battle of Elysia. Doug's Tech Tuesdays. The Insane History of the Warrior Cat series. Dude, next time we get Rachel on the stream, we got to ask her about Warrior Cats. And the very insane fandom of Warrior Cats fans. The Big Lie about nuclear waste. A lot of nuclear waste stuff. I'll watch one of them. What is the big lie about nuclear waste, Cleo Aaron? It's only 13 minutes.
Nuclear power. Nuclear power. Nuclear power. Nuclear waste.
Dude, why can't I fucking full screen it?
Nuclear waste. Nuclear waste.
Okay, I need to show you something. This is a nuclear reactor built in 1962.
The atomic power plant of the future. Being developed by Argonne National Laboratory.
But it's not just any old nuclear reactor.
This reactor is different in many ways from the nuclear power plants that supply some of our homes today with electricity.
The biggest difference was the fuel they used to make electricity. This nuclear reactor made electricity out of nuclear waste.
Nuclear waste. Nuclear waste. Some kind of nuclear waste.
Well, sir, where should we dump this batch?
When I think of nuclear waste, I think of that classic glowing green goo in yellow barrels, you know? This radioactive stuff that we end up with after all of the fuel is used up, that we have to store for hundreds of thousands of years because it's so dangerous.
Like, we fight about nuclear waste all the time. We say, can we even use nuclear because we end up with this radioactive waste, and where should we store it, and not near my house? And you're telling me that there's a nuclear reactor that can make electricity out of nuclear waste, and it was built in the 1960s? Back then, they were predicting that we would use this technology to build this incredible clean energy future.
And by the year 2000, more than half the electric power of the country will come from atomic sources.
But today, we're nowhere close to that. We don't reuse any of our nuclear waste. Instead, it just piles up. But if this technology works, that means that our nuclear waste isn't radioactive trash. It's an incredible clean energy resource.
So what went wrong?
And it's just sitting there sucking up money to
Johnny
keep it
Harris?
safe. We think about technology as constantly moving forward. But this is a story about how we left behind a technology that could change our energy future. So, this video is about what happened to using nuclear waste to make electricity, to the clean energy future that we could have had. But more importantly, this video is about the people trying to bring that future back.
Nuclear waste.
Nuclear waste problem.
The concern about nuclear energy.
There are concerns about emissions.
Abundant power. We need clean energy. Energizes the city.
We are coming up with new nuclear reactors
that will guarantee a plentiful supply of atomic power for the nation and the world for centuries to come.
Quack. The fuck are you doing? We don't have any of this in our videos. We don't have these animated, cool fucking things in the middle to keep you entertained when you're a Zoomer and you want to talk about. You just cut from me yapping to me yapping again. Get what they have.
I first got obsessed with this topic because a couple of weeks ago, my friend and fellow video journalist Johnny Harris called me up and he asked me for some help on a video that he was making all about nuclear power.
Let's do this. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole on why people are afraid of nuclear energy. What are the events and the things that freak us all out? And I kind of want you to do the opposite. To look at, like, is there a future for this technology and should we actually be as afraid as we are?
So I started to dig into it. And as part of my research process into nuclear power, I got invited to go visit one of the largest and oldest national research centers in the United States.
Here we are. This is Argonne National Laboratory. We're gonna get to go see the research that they're doing. And they have been doing research on nuclear power since like before I was born.
Hold on. Do you recognize that name?
Argonne National Laboratory.
Yeah, this was the same national lab that developed that incredible old nuclear waste recycling reactor. But I didn't know that yet. So we go on this incredible tour. It's awesome. I'm learning a ton. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be so overprepared to talk to Johnny about nuclear power. And on this tour with me are these two people from Oklo, which is a company that's working on new kinds of nuclear reactors.
Should have invested when you saw this video. When did this come out? 1 year ago? Could have been a millionaire.
And at the end of the tour, I'm sitting with them under this big tree, and one of them says something that just short circuits my brain.
So we're actually working with Argonne closely on how to recycle existing nuclear waste in the US. There's enough used fuel to power the country for the next 150 years.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
There is enough used fuel in the country, in the US alone, to generate power for the country for the next 150 years.
Now with all the grok images I'm gonna create,
fuel, meaning nuclear waste, in the US to power the country for 150 years. Like, you can see me not believing her. I think it's some fake math. Like, maybe technically there's enough energy there, but like we could never really use it. We don't know how to do that.
Whereas like when they say, you know, geothermal, you could power the earth for like thousands of years if we could get all of the energy out of the earth. It's like, yeah, well, we don't know how to do that. Do we know how to?
Yeah, we just don't have the commercial facility to do so, but the technology's there.
Experts differ on the exact number of years here, but they agree that the nuclear waste we have now could be used as a large energy source based on technology that we've already built. But it gets even better. If you reuse that nuclear waste, especially if you reuse it more than once, you can dramatically cut down on the amount of time that the waste after all of that's done is radioactive for. So the amount of time that we have to store our nuclear waste. The problems are cost and global politics, not fundamental technology. Here we go. By the time I got to DC to talk to Johnny about this, I was obsessed.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to our studio.
We have all of this nuclear waste, right? And it is scary, but imagine that there was a way that you could actually not just store it, but actually use it.
So you can use...
If cost is a problem, it's a non-starter. All of the cost comes from politics. The reason it's expensive is because of how politically blocked it is. So they put you through so many fucking hoops and checks and regulatory agencies, and that drastically, exponentially increases the costs. There's no, I repeat this, there is no true argument against nuclear. There is no true argument against expanding nuclear energy. It's all fucking bullshit. If you follow all the threads, you will find that it's bullshit. It all comes down to either being just personally scared or personally having a vested interest in the way energy has already gotten.
Nuclear waste as fuel for more
You can
energy.
recycle nuclear waste.
You can recycle nuclear waste.
Yes, and I dived all the way into this in a video that I'm now going to promise is going to be on my channel by the time we air this one.
This is that video. To understand what's going on here, you have to understand that nuclear waste isn't what you've been told. All right, let's zoom out for a sec. Basically, all of the electricity that you use, except solar, comes from spinning a turbine.
It's magic.
Most of the time inside a power plant, what you're really doing is you're heating up a liquid into steam and using that to spin the turbine. The most common way to do that is still burning stuff near it. That's fossil fuels. But you could also use liquid that the earth already heated up for you. That's geothermal. Or you can split atoms apart inside special rocks and make them really hot. That's nuclear. And the special hot rocks are uranium.
Uranium.
Sheesh, that's awesome. That's a good one to do.
But only a really small part of natural uranium, less than 1%, is a kind of breakable uranium that can sustain a nuclear reaction. This is uranium-235. The number refers to the number of neutrons in the atom. So typically uranium goes through a process called enrichment, which is making...
Do you guys think that's a Jimmy Neutron reference or no? Do you think when God created and named uranium-235 after the number of... Do you think God was referencing his future favorite show, Jimmy Neutron? I'm just wondering. Okay.
More of the uranium-235 out of the less useful uranium-238. By the time that's all done, your fuel looks like this. If you take your finger up to your first joint, that's about the size of a uranium fuel pellet. Those pellets then go into these long metal rods that I got to see while I was at Argonne. And then comes the nuclear reaction. So you fire a bunch of free atoms at your uranium-235, which cracks it into smaller, very unstable atoms, and throws off a couple other neutrons in the process, which zoom off and hit more uranium nearby, and then more and more, a chain reaction of splitting atoms. And each time they get split, a little mass turns into energy, which makes the rods really hot, which heats the water, which spins the turbine, which generates electricity.
Bada boom!
But eventually, after 4 to 6 years, you've broken enough of that special uranium that the reaction stops working efficiently. And that spent fuel is now considered high-level nuclear waste. At this point, that waste is a mix of 238 and a little bit of leftover 235 and a bunch of very unstable atoms that give off ionizing radiation. That ionizing radiation in large doses is the bad stuff. It's the scary, invisible killer that affects our tissues and our DNA in often deadly ways. And the thing is, this nuclear waste stays radioactive for an insanely long time. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years sometimes, which is, to put it mildly, a problem.
We've got to find better and safer ways to store nuclear waste.
Waste that can remain radioactive for centuries, that remains a big problem.
Right now, most nuclear waste in the United States is stored in dry casks that look like this to protect people from the radioactive material inside. Those dry casks are meant to last decades, but not hundreds of thousands of years, which is what we're talking about here. So we've been having this ongoing fight for decades about what to do with nuclear waste. There are options for long-term storage, and some countries are already doing that. Johnny and I got into the details in his video. But right now, in the US and in lots of other countries, there are a lot of dry casks full of nuclear waste just sitting there at nuclear power plants. So to summarize, we take uranium out of the ground, we use it once, and then we store it basically forever. This is the once-through fuel cycle that the US has today. Now listen to the analogy that they used in the 1960s to describe how stupid this fuel cycle would be.
Would you say that using the 235 and not the rest is sort of like using the cream and throwing away the milk? Exactly.
The key is to figure out how to filter out the stuff that's still useful from the real waste that's not. Turns out Argonne is one of the few places that is still testing nuclear waste recycling in the US, and I got to go see it.
I'm just gonna go right on up, and they're gonna tell me to stop filming right now.
It was a whole thing. I had to send them my passport to prove that I was a US citizen before they'd let me on the tour, and I wasn't allowed to film inside. In order to go into this place that I can't show you, I have to wear these cool safety glasses. How do I look? Amazing. Let's do it. Luckily, Argonne itself has actually published footage from the lab that I toured, so here's what they're doing inside that large protective box. First, they cut up the nuclear waste into little pieces. Then they dissolve those pieces into a vat of molten salts. When they run electricity through that vat...
Do you think there would be an opening for a job where somebody like chews the pieces a little bit to get them like nice and mushy and ready to... Just like, not like swallow it, but like, just like mush it around a bit to like get it, soften it up for the reaction. Like feeding a baby bird. Yeah, but then you like spit it into the reactor. Chat is already employed doing that.
It separates the uranium and other useful materials from the rest of the junk and pushes it across the vat where it creates deposits of the useful stuff on the other side. Then they make new fuel rods out of those deposits and stick them back in a reactor. And it's not just possible to do that once, you can do it multiple times. Not just making electricity, but also reducing how long that waste is radioactive for, because you're using up the materials that last the longest. From hundreds of thousands of years down sometimes to hundreds of years, which is a much easier time frame to store something. If you can pull this off, you can have a nuclear fuel cycle that looks like this. You mine the uranium, you use it in a reactor, filter out the useful stuff, then you use it again and again and again. And when you can't anymore, then you put it in much shorter term storage that's much more manageable. This is called a closed fuel cycle, and there are lots of variations, but it's not hypothetical. Some countries, like Japan for example, are already doing this. And they say they do it because it reduces their dependence on imported fuel, it conserves uranium, and it reduces the radioactivity of their nuclear waste. Which makes sense. So, what happened in the United States?
Tonight I want to have an unpleasant talk with you.
In 1977, President Jimmy Carter announced new policies meant to stop the growing risk of nuclear war, and that meant stopping all nuclear recycling. Why? Well, you remember the materials that we separated out during the recycling process. One of those materials was plutonium, which is a highly radioactive element that was seen as the highest concern for nuclear proliferation. So President Jimmy Carter stopped all nuclear recycling, saying, quote, a viable
And as we saw in that China Actually video, no other country's ever got nuclear weapons, ever again. And the world has very few nuclear weapons nowadays, and this worked. This worked. Thank God. We sacrificed our incredibly impressive and highly performing nuclear energy sector to stop nuclear weapons, and it worked.
Economic nuclear power
Good
program
job.
can be sustained without such reprocessing and recycling. The US moved away from the kinds of reactors that could handle nuclear waste, called fast reactors, and toward the kinds of reactors that exist today, called light water reactors. But while the US stopped nuclear recycling, other countries didn't. The ban on nuclear recycling stopped being seen as helpful to slow the threat of nuclear proliferation. So President Reagan lifted the ban in 1981, but by then, companies had invested in the kinds of reactors that couldn't recycle, the kind that we have now.
Today, the main claim is that nuclear fuel recycling is too high cost. It's just not economical. And that's true compared to using new uranium, which has been cheap and plentiful. What incentive did anyone have to recycle their fuel?
It's more expensive
But
now,
those incentives are changing.
The combination of wondering whether global conflict will cut off fuel supply, and the recognition that we need more clean energy in as many ways as possible, as fast as possible, has started to wake people up to a technology and a dream that we'd left behind.
We are not far off from it.
Year of
We're
nuclear,
not talking
baby!
about technology that we're dreaming of, that we hope can work. We're talking about technology that has already been demonstrated before and proven. We just need to commercialize it.
There is a lot to figure out and a long way to go. But if we can recycle nuclear waste, I think it says something profound about what we as humans are capable of. Splitting atoms, sure, but I mean something much more simple. Changing our minds and overcoming our fears. To use our resources and our technology and our ingenuity to make other people's lives a little bit better tomorrow than they are today.
And this, of course, is just the beginning. Not only will atomic power be released, but someday we will harness the rise and fall of the tides and imprison the rays of the sun. We have indeed just begun.
Pog, and subsequently Champ. We could be using this money for alcohol and gambling, though. We aren't stupid. Why isn't this stuff? As a funny message, I do think you sent it 10 times. Am I crazy? It's funnier the 11th. Wait, I'm sorry. You only sent it once, but you stole it from this guy, Jordan Delphine, who sent it 10 times. That's crazy because you got, what's that Key and Peele sketch? You got high on pot noosed. You got high on pot noosed. You said it 10 times and I ignored it, and then he said it at the end of the video, right time. Wow. I can't believe you got high on pot noosed. I hate my Chungus life. Fuck my Chungus life. All right. Well, chat. I want to go check on my wife. Borat reference. As she is, not feeling well. It was fun hanging out with you. Had a good time. It was a pleasure. It was a treat. I will be probably not live tomorrow, almost certainly. But Monday, I will be doing a Marketing Monday. A lot of people were asking today, why are you talking about China's new AI? The DeepSeek R1. Why are you talking about that? And the reason is that's my Marketing Monday topic. Yikes. So I didn't talk about it because I wanted to talk about it on Monday. goodbye. Let's play our outro song and raid somebody. Let's raid. Oh, Summoning Salt? Bro, let's raid Summoning Salt. I never see him live. He's speedrunning Punch Out. Bro, that's fucking hype. Raid Summoning Salt. My goat. Show him some love. Ask him to run some ads, maybe. Oh my God. Lin-Manuel Miranda on SNL alert? Wait. We gotta watch this before we raid.
Leaders, but know one thing. In America, we will never have a king. Never say never. Kidding, of course, though in many leaders. But
This is not new, right? This is like gotta be 2016. This has gotta be 2016. That's gotta be 2016. That's insane. That's so fucking millennial. That's so millennial. That can't be new. That can't be new. Anyway, goodbye. Goodbye.